cause of action has two parts. One, you claim that Mr. Jackson filed a false protective order against you. And two, that while you were together, you purchased some furniture together. And when you separated, Mr. Jackson said he would pay you back for the part of the furniture that you participated in financially, and he never did. So let's first get some boundaries. You lived together from when to when?
We met about in August of 2011, and we stayed together till February 26th of 2012.
Is that when you lived together?
Oh, actually, no. I moved in 2 months later after August. We started dating for a little bit, and then I moved in 2 months later.
And when did you purchase the furniture?
We purchased the furniture in February 2012, the beginning of February 2012.
How much did you put in for the furniture?
$1,041.89 to be exact.
And what about you, Mr. Jackson? How much did you contribute for the furniture?
I put in basically half what the furniture costs.
Well, would half be the $1,041?
I would say the total of the furniture was like $1,900.
So let's say the furniture was $2,000, you put in $1,000, she put in $1,000.
Yes.
Fine. And then you separated in February. There was an altercation, is that right?
Yes, this past February.
Did Miss Marks take any of the furniture?
No.
Do you have the furniture?
Yes.
Did you give her any money for the furniture?
Yes, I gave her $400 when she was moving out.
When did you give her any?
The day after she was arrested for the domestic violence, she got out of jail the next day, came over to my house.
He's lying, Your Honor.
Listen, if you interrupt him again, I'm going to throw you out. Now, do you understand? I said it nicely once. Done.
My neighbor was helping me move her stuff. He was there when I gave her the $400.
Where did you get the $400 from?
I got it out of my bank account with the credit union.
You took out the money on what date?
The 26th of February.
And you took the money out for what purpose?
To pay her.
Well, had you had a discussion with her about the furniture and about the money?
Yes, I told her that I have the furniture, so since I have it, and I know you don't have really nowhere to go and take the furniture, because we wouldn't have, I will give you your half on it, and I will keep the furniture.
Well, her half isn't $400. Her half is $1,000.
I understand that, Judge. I told her I would give her $4 now and give her the rest later. That's what our agreement was.
Did you ever give her the rest?
Not yet.
So then at least you owe her $600 for the furniture, correct?
Correct.
All right. Do you have proof of the $400, sir? I'd like to see it. Thank you.
I highlighted it.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I want to know if the date matches what he's saying, and then I also have proof that he sent me text messages saying that he owes me for the furniture.
Oh, well, I'd like to see your text message. Yes, and yes, the date matches.
Because he sent me these text messages on April 13th.
Oh, well, why would you send her, sir? If you say you gave her this $400, why would you send her a text message that said that you would pay her $1,041?
No, it wasn't that I said I paid $1,000. I said the balance, take away the $400, and I owe you the balance.
Your Honor, if you look at the text messages, he never mentioned the $400 at all.
Just a second.
Okay.
You want to show this to Mr. Jackson, please?
Also, he said he took out the... Okay.
No, I never sent this. I didn't send this.
Your Honor, yes, he did. He was trying to get back with me, and he sent those text messages saying that he owes me for the furniture. He also stated that...
But just a second. Mr. Jackson, I just want to look over your answer for a moment, sir, what you swore to. Because you acknowledged before that you still owed her money for the furniture.
Right, minus the $400. I acknowledge.
No. You acknowledged that you owed her still $600 for the furniture if I believe that you gave her $400. But in this, you say she showed up later that day to get her things. She wanted some furniture, but she had no place to keep it. I gave her $400, and we agreed that I would keep everything.
Right. Everything that we went half on, I was keeping it. I was paying her half that she paid.
No, well, that's not what you said. You said I gave her $400 and agreed that I would keep everything. That suggests to me that for $400 she agreed to leave you the furniture. You didn't say here, but I still owe her $600.
No, that was just our verbal agreement.
Your Honor, he's making
that was our verbal agreement.
That's all the way false.
Got it. Now let's get to the other part of your case, which may be a little more difficult for you, Ms. Marks.
Yeah.
Now that we've gotten to know each other just a little bit.
Okay.
He had you arrested for domestic violence.
Yes, he did.
And part of your claim is for having you falsely arrested for domestic
violence.
That's correct. So, Mr. Jackson, I want you to tell me the date of the incident and why you called the police.
It was on February the 26th, Sunday evening. I was going to be leaving to go and play poker.
Well, let's preface it. According to your answer and your complaint, you and the plaintiff lived together with your son and her 2 children.
Yes, I let her and her 2 kids move in with me and my son.
Go ahead.
Take care of my son. Okay, on that day, but this has been going on.
So she moved into your house?
Yes, I let her move in to my place.
Listen to me. I don't want you to speak. Go ahead.
I let her move into my place, Your Honor.
Just tell me what happened on February 26th.
Okay. My son came in the kitchen and said, "Dad, can I use your bathroom?" I mean, he's 12 years old, Your Honor. Maybe he might have said it out of, not knowing that it's all of our restrooms, but he said that. Because he said that statement, it made Shanika mad, which everything my son do makes her mad.
That's false, Your Honor.
Did you understand? One more word, I'm not even going to hear the rest of your complaint. You're gone. You will get your money for your furniture, and I'm not even going to hear the rest of the case about your accusation that he filed a false restraining order. Are we crystal clear on that?
Yes.
Crystal?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's been going on since the 2nd, 3rd month she moved in with me, Your Honor.
February 26th.
February 26th. My son said that, can he use my restroom? She got upset. She started yelling and cursing at him, which I asked her numerous...
What did she say?
This ain't your dad's restroom. This is everybody's restroom. Why you keep on... You think you running everything, and I'm just sick of you and your dad. And I walked over to her and I said, "Shanika, please, I ask you not to do that to my son. Don't curse at him like that. He made a mistake and said the restroom, who freaking big deal? Why you got to do that?" And then I walked away from her and she came screaming in my ear, "Oh, I'm so sick of you. You're not a man. You don't take care of your son. You let him do whatever. You let him run over you." I put my hand up. She was like literally bombing my eardrum. It was ringing. She was that close to my ear. I put my hand up like this. She's saying that when I put my hand up like this, it hit her nose. I didn't even recognize that, but I put my hand up to just give me some space. Back up. Leave me alone. Once I did that, Your Honor, she just hit me 3 times in my face. Boom, boom, boom. I pushed her off of me. I left. Went to my friend's house because I'm really upset. My son's screaming, "Dad, please don't leave me." I said, "Son, go to your neighbors. I'm leaving." Because when I pushed her, Your Honor, she said, "Well, I'm calling the police." I'm like, "No problem." I left, went to my friend's house. I called the police, Your Honor. Told them what happened. They said, "Go back to the house, sir. We'll meet you there in a few minutes." I went back to the house. Shanika wasn't there. She was gone.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Sure, they purchased together. Shanika says Caleb kept the furniture when they broke up.
Okay. Tell me your version of what happened on February 26th.
Okay. On February 26th, we got into a verbal altercation
About
over
what?
his son. His son is 12 years...
No. Don't tell me what he is.
Okay.
Just tell me what happened on February 26th.
Okay, we got into a verbal altercation.
About what?
About his son not listening to me.
No, that's
being
not
defiant.
how it started. It started over the bathroom.
Yeah, it started over the bathroom.
Then just tell me what happened.
Okay, his son said, "Dad, can I use your bathroom?" We only have one bathroom in question, so we all use the same bathroom.
Fine, so
I
he
told
said
his son, "Karee, why would you say this is your dad's bathroom? This is everybody's bathroom. We all use the same bathroom. Why would you have to ask your dad to use your bathroom?" No one was in the bathroom. So his son was just doing what a 12-year-old does. He got very irate with me. He got very aggressive with me. He started yelling, "Don't talk to my son." He didn't want me to have any interaction control over disciplining his son. That was the whole thing.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely
we
correct.
live in the same...
I don't care.
We live in the same
I don't
household.
care.
I pay the bills just as
I
much
don't
as
care.
he do.
What
But
does
he
that
could
have-
discipline my children, but I can't discipline his
I
son.
didn't say he should discipline your children.
We
I
live
don't think
on-
he should discipline your children at all. He's not their stepfather. He's not their father. He shouldn't discipline your children
Yeah,
at all.
but he's very controlling. He's 18 years older than me, and he thinks he's like my
I want to
father.
tell you something, my dear. Nobody controls you.
That he acts like he's my father.
No. You've been in this courtroom maybe 8 minutes, and I'm telling you, nobody controls you. You have no fear. You have no fear of being in a new surrounding, because unless you have some sort of reality program, this is a new surrounding for you. You certainly have no fear of me, and if you were smart, you would. But no fear.
That is
no
true,
fear.
Your Honor.
So this man is not controlling you. And I'm telling
Well,
you...
he tries to control.
Do you understand? You just tried to shout over me. So what I'm telling you is, I don't buy the shrinking violet act that somebody is trying to control you. What I'm telling you is, you have no business disciplining his 12-year-old son. You're not his mother. You're not his stepmother. You have no business doing that. You're his father's girlfriend who's living in his home. So you have no business disciplining him. Now, after you got into this altercation with him, Tell me what happened.
After we were yelling back and forth at each other, I was yelling at Caleb. Caleb got his right hand and he shoved my face. He shoved my face.
And then what did you do?
And then I pushed past him to push him, and then he grabbed me and he threw me up against the wall. Like he stated before, I did say I was going to call the police, but I didn't because I didn't. And I want him to go to jail.
Just a second. Did you hit him?
No, I did not.
Don't believe it. Don't believe it.
If I hit him, okay, I've never been violent in my life. I've never been to jail. I'm a nursing student. I have 2 children, Your Honor. Why would I just I've been living with him for a whole year. Why would I just all of a sudden just hit him?
I think that you became violent with each other. I think you each put your hands on each other. I think he mushed your face, and I think you punched him in the face, and I think you both got out of control. And you went and you cooled off because you said, I'm calling the police, and then you said, I'm not going to call the police. And he says, you know, I know what happens when a woman calls the police on a domestic violence complaint. They're going to put me out of my own house. So I'm going to call the police. She says she's going to call the police. I'm going to hopefully get there first, no matter whose house it is. She moved into my house with her kids, but they're going to put me out, and I'm not going to have no place to go with my son. That's exactly what happened. You don't stay in this business for 40 years without being able to write the script. It's all happened before, madam.
Yeah.
You got violent with each other. He just got the 911 before you did. He owes you $1,041 for the furniture. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. May step out.
He has always been controlling. He thinks he's someone's father.
I'm just glad that it's over. My son has peace. I have peace.
I really don't have anything to say to him. He can go his way. I go my way.
I will move on. I will be a better person.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter, Richards versus Brooker. Step forward.
Anita Richards is suing the father of her son, Scott Brooker, for an unpaid loan to help him move.
Ms. Richards, you and Mr. Brooker have a child together. Is that right?
Correct.
How old is that child?
He'll be 17 tomorrow.
And who does he live with?
His father.
How long has he been living with his father?
Since '09, I believe.
And prior to that, were you living together or was he living with you?
No, he lived with me solely, full-time.
Why did he go and live with his father?
I was ordered by the court.
When
I can't teach him how to be a man. He can.
What?
I can't teach him how to be a man. His father can.
When he lived with you, did his father visit with him?
Yes.
Did he pay child support?
Absolutely.
Since he is living with his father, do you pay child support?
No, he has not asked for any.
You do not pay child support?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
I haven't worked since then.
How do you support yourself?
Currently, my family helps me out.
Is there any reason why you don't work?
No.
Okay. This is what the case is about. You say that Mr. Brooker owes you money because he wanted to move, remain in the same school district where his son was going to school. He needed some assistance with the first class and security on a new apartment. He called you. You gave him that money. He only paid you back partially when he got the security back from his old apartment. He paid you back. You say he still owes you $800. He says there was never an agreement to pay you back, and you haven't paid child support in 4 years.
He did send me a text to set up a payment. He didn't owe it to me. Why would he be repaying it?
Oh, I'd like to see the text.
I got a new phone, so I forwarded it to an email. But that's from... Yes, ma'am.
When did you take the money from her, sir?
I believe it was in September.
September of what year?
2011, just last year.
Well, why in the world would he send you an email a week ago?
Because he didn't want to come to court. He wanted to set up a payment plan in lieu of coming to small claims court once he was getting filed.
You can give that back to her. I'm still curious as to why you don't pay child support. Why doesn't she pay child support, Mr. Brooker?
Basically, she's been unemployed and didn't have any money to support our son.
And he's never asked for any.
Doesn't have to ask for any, Miss Richards. Why should you have to ask somebody to pay support for a child that you created? You don't have to ask anybody. You're supposed to support them. That's what two parents do. Two parents supposed to support their children.
Yeah.
Not just the fathers and mothers, especially when a father has custody of a child and the mother's doing nothing.
Well, that's not correct, ma'am. But
what's not correct? You told me that. I'm just repeating what you told me.
I don't do nothing. Just because I don't have a job does not mean I don't do anything.
Well, you don't do anything to earn money to support your responsibility.
I worked from the time I was 16 to 42. I took care of my special needs child by myself for the most purposes while he beat him and went to jail for it.
Well, let me tell you this. All I can tell you is what I know about this case so far is that the child has been living with his father, according to you, for 4 years since he's 13 years old. And during that time, you've not paid support for him. Now, when he ran into a little bit of financial difficulty and needed you to help him out a little bit and asked you to help him because he had to move with the boy, and you said, fine. You gave him $2,000,
He promised he was going to pay it back.
Listen to me
it was
carefully.
Not a gift. It was a
Listen
loan.
to me carefully. When you haven't supported your child, contributed to his welfare for 4 years, and his father needed a little assistance,
He put a restraining
I'm
order out on
speaking.
me.
Don't speak when I'm speaking.
I borrowed.
With no means of repaying them.
I was supposed to
and
repay when
then
he paid
I'm
me
speaking.
back.
I'm still speaking. And then he pays you back the majority of it because he said he would as soon as he got the security back from his first apartment, leaving a balance of $800. And I'm just telling you, Miss Richards, if I were you and a good parent, I would let it go. I would have let it go. I would have said to myself, you know, I'm really good. If in 4 years I had given him $25 a month, it would have eaten up all that money, so I'm not going to do that. Our case is dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Step out.
I would like to say that this is the only time we've had some drama in a courthouse, but it's not. You know, that's just my whole thing, is just try to stay out all the drama and provide for my kids and have a good life and not go through all this.
Be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Mr. Nelson, it is your claim that the defendant, who was your girlfriend for a period of time, owes you for several things. First, something about rent. Second, something about a damaged car. And finally, you want her to pay for part of a trip that you went on together.
Correct.
Okay. Let's start with what you think she owes you for.
She owes me for denting my truck.
Okay. When did she dent your truck?
October 23rd of 2011.
How did that happen, Miss McNeil?
I was backing his trailer up closer to my garage, so in the middle of the night, nobody would steal anything off of it, because I own a bar, and my home is only 50 feet from the bar, and people are wandering around there all hours of the night till at least 2 in the morning.
Could you just tell me what happened with this truck?
I got in the truck to move it, back it up to my garage, and not knowing that he wrapped a chain around the tire, it jackknifed, and it put a dent in his rear quarter.
So it was your responsibility?
Yes.
Did you tell him you would take care of it?
I told him I would. I told him I was sorry. He told me not to worry about it.
Okay, is that what you told her?
No.
What did you tell her?
I told her I'd like to be reimbursed for it.
And was that on the 23rd of October?
That'd be the next day because we didn't live together.
And you were staying at her house?
Overnight, yes.
Well, you stayed at her house overnight?
Correct. We were leaving in the morning.
For where?
She lives 80 miles from where my work is, so I was commuting from her house to work in the morning. I would leave at 4:30 in the morning.
Okay, did you come back?
No.
So you never came back after the 23rd of October? You separated at that time?
No, we did not separate at that time.
So then you lived together, or you stayed together, or romanced together after October 23rd?
Correct.
Until what month, sir?
Did we quit dating?
Yes.
Be March 4th.
Between October and March, did you have your truck fixed?
No.
Did you discuss her fixing it?
No.
Then deal with it yourself. Next.
I tried to deal with it, but...
No, deal with it yourself. Because between October and March, sir, it wasn't a big deal. And you and Miss McNeil lived together, shared a bed together, went out to dinner together. I'm not interested in her denting your truck. Let's move on.
Okay. And the next item that we had is that because she was sick of living next to the bar, because it's so much chaos and it drives her crazy because it's everybody, it's 24/7, she wanted to find a place that was in between my work and her bar where we would live together.
And when did she decide to do that? In
We
what
had
month?
we had dialogue over the course of September, and we were looking for places, and then we found one at the beginning of October.
When did you find it?
About the last week of September, we found the place, and then they accepted us.
And when did you move in there?
October 8th.
Well, but according to you, and according to her, she dented your truck on October 23rd, and she was still living at her house.
Correct. What it was is that the house that we were going to have in the town of Isani was going to be the home during the week. She was going to commute back and forth, and then on weekends, she was still going to have a room.
A room where?
Upstairs in her house.
So she still had her house, and
She still had her house.
That's
So-
where you were. That's where your truck was.
That night. There was a weekend thing. That's what it was going to be, a weekend place to go for the weekend. And the house in Isani was going to be during the week. So,
What do you want from her, Mr. Nelson? I'm still trying to figure out what you want from her. So you moved into an
So
apartment.
we both moved in. So we're going to be together, and I paid all of the rent. And then I paid a deposit for her to be able to smoke and have a cat, and I paid all that. I was there for 2.5 months, and I could not afford it because she came up after the first month and says, I'm not going to be paying anything. I don't have any money. And I said, well, I can't live here. I can't afford this. Plus be paying, for my kids and stuff like that.
Well, how did you expect to pay for yourself?
I was only going to be paying half of the new place.
Okay.
So going forward, I paid everything. After 2.5 months, I couldn't afford it. I told her that. I went to the landlord, and he said, well, you guys were supposed to be here. They forfeited my deposit and the rent, and then she says, well, move in here. So I moved in with her.
On what date?
On what date? It would be December 15th, because that was my last day that I was staying there.
December 15th.
So I'm
So
not
you
a
moved
free,
in with her.
Correct. I'm not a freeloader. I said I'll pay you $400 a month, which will go into a fund to which we will travel. And that's what we did. Then in the beginning of the last week of February, we went on a trip to Florida.
Just a second. Let me understand this. So now you're not paying any more rent in this other place that you rented, and you moved in with her.
Correct.
And you were going to put some money in a kitty for travel.
Correct. There's
What
going to be her
about,
rent money.
just a second, what about your rent?
To stay
Well,
with
you're
her,
moving, you're staying with her.
and I'm paying her rent.
No, you said you were paying her $400 that was supposed to go into a kitty for travel. That's not rent.
Well, I have a text statement saying from her saying yes, that was for rent.
You just told me it wasn't for rent. You just told me it was for a kitty for travel.
It was her money to do with what she wants. She was going to put it in a fund, and I said I'll be paying you $400 rent.
So it wasn't for travel.
She could do whatever she wanted.
No. Of course she could do whatever she wants. I'm asking you what your rent was.
My rent was $400 a month.
For the roof over your head.
Correct.
Okay, now, fine. So now you paid her $400, let's say twice. And so what's next? So
what I did was I bought a trip to Florida. So what I did is I advanced all the money, $2,200, expecting to live there. But I only lived there 2 months.
So you paid $2,200, $800 of which was for rent.
Correct.
So that leaves $1,400. And go ahead.
Then she kicked me out. She left me at the curb at the airport.
Did you go on the trip?
Yes.
The two of you?
Correct.
Okay. Was she supposed to pay you back for half the trip?
Was she supposed to pay me back for half the
That's
trip?
the question I asked you.
She said at the airport, she says, yes, I'll give you your money for what I paid so far, minus what I've already stayed there.
Well, that would mean that she would owe you $700.
Okay.
I mean, if what you paid forward was $2,200.
Correct.
Your rent was $800.
Correct.
You each went on the trip. And if you're going to split the expenses, that would mean she, at best, owes you $700.
Correct.
Okay, so that's all we're interested in today.
And then there's the Isani place.
She's not paying you anything for that, sir.
Why not? See,
because one place or another, you have to pay rent. She's paying a mortgage.
Right.
You're paying rent. Your wife is living in your house with your kids. She's paying expenses. One place or another, you have to pay.
Right, but I was paying her, but I paid the whole thing. She was supposed to...
She paid her whole mortgage. You didn't pay her whole mortgage.
But she
you
was...
stayed there on weekends.
I would...
Mr. Nelson, at best, she owes you $700. That's it. Now I have to hear about the trip that you went on. Did you go on a trip with him?
Yes, I did.
And did you agree that the costs of that trip would be split between the two of you?
No. And I didn't know it was coming to $2,000. I have a...
It's not $2,000. The whole thing was $1,400.
Right.
He's going to show me that it was $2,200. That's the trip.
My ticket alone is $464.
$464?
Yeah.
And what else?
I got the visa that he requested, and he put it in his pocket, and I never seen it until we got back, and I have all these charges on here. So if this was used for my rent...
Just a second. All those charges...
That we bought, went out to dinner, we went to...
Well, who paid that?
It came out of the money that he gave me for rent.
How much total?
Out of $460, there's $22 left.
He said the trip was $2,200.
I don't know where he comes up with that.
Where do you come up with $2,200, sir?
I have a timeshare, so the cost of timeshare per year is roughly about $800.
Just a second. You have a timeshare with whom?
With me? I own a timeshare?
With your wife?
Yes, and my brother.
With your wife and your brother?
Correct. We own it together.
Great.
But I'm able to use it.
Great. And are you going to be able to use it next year?
Yes. But I have to pay the exchange fee and
You
do that.
have to pay for that no matter whether you use it or not.
No, you don't have to pay the exchange fee. That's when you use it.
Oh, good. How much was the exchange fee for this week?
$199.
$200.
$200.
So where are you getting $2,200?
The car rental?
Tell me exactly how much the car rental was, sir.
The car rental? It had $282. And then we had a gas fee when we were done of $82.
$282 for the car rental. What else?
Well, gas money was $82, and then the fees for going through the tolls were $26.
I'm not anywhere near $2,200,
right.
sir.
But then what it was is that, see, both airline tickets together.
Not interested in yours. Interested in hers.
Right, the airline ticket, okay? And then I paid for that $465 she was talking about was I went shopping for her. It came with $465. I said, keep that money.
I'm not seeing $2,200, sir.
Right, I'm
Is
getting it.
what you're doing adding in there the cost of the condo?
Yes.
Well, you can't.
The maintenance fee of it.
You can't.
Okay.
I'm not seeing, sir, that you paid more than $800.
I paid for her?
She doesn't owe you any money, Mr. Nelson.
Well,
she doesn't owe you any money, Mr. Nelson. None.
Right,
if
but
all you paid for 2 months was $800, you've hardly brought the expenses for this trip up to $800. And if you were paying off your rent by this trip, then it's a wash.
But the total cost of the trip was $2,200.
That includes
yes.
the cost of the condo.
Correct.
Goodbye.
But that's it.
Boys are excused. May step out.
We agreed to move in together.
He's a liar
You know, the money was supposed to go to a trip,
and a deceiver.
you know, for me living there.
When you do a relationship, you're always going to risk something.
I think she had in her mind that she didn't want to be with me anymore.
Matter of fact, the outfit he's got on, I bought for him.
But she was going to get something
I'm never going to date another guy in my life.
before, we finally officially break up.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bono versus Banyak. Step forward.
23-year-old John Bono is suing former landlord Gail Banyak for the return of a motorcycle he left behind when he moved out.
Mr. Bono, how old are you, sir?
I'm 23, Your Honor.
You work?
Yes, I do.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a concrete finisher.
Do you work for a company?
Yes, I do.
How long have you been working for them?
Currently, I've been employed for them for about a month. It's actually my uncle's company, and about 2 years prior, I worked for him for about 3 years.
And in between, were you employed or unemployed?
Both. I was employed for a little while and also unemployed for a short time.
When did you move into the defendant's house?
It was, I believe, the day after Christmas in 2010.
Tell me the circumstances of you moving into her house.
Basically, I got kicked out of my house on Christmas.
What house was that?
This was a house I was living with a couple roommates in another city outside St. Louis. They were selling the house, so we got kicked out of the house with no notice. Gail said I could come live with her.
How do you know her?
I am friends with her son.
Is that you?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 18, Judge.
How do you know her son?
I met him through friends through high school. We went to the same high school.
Well, but not at the same time.
No.
Clearly.
No. There was actually another boy that was living at her house at the time. His name is Mike. He was a grade younger than me. I know Chad through him.
Do you take in tenants?
I have had a tendency to take in a few tenants before, yes, in order to meet my bills.
Is he a tenant of yours?
He was for a short time, yes. He was a veteran from the Navy, and when he came back, he lived with me. And
For
that's
how
how
long?
I know John. Mike lived with me about 6 months.
What did he pay in rent?
He did not. I worked him at the house.
What does that mean, you worked him at the house?
I'm sorry, I had him do labor around the house for me for his room and board.
How many other tenants did you have at the house?
Throughout the course of the 18 years I've lived there?
No, let's say in the last year.
In the last year, probably only 3 or 4.
When did you move out of her house, Mr. Bono?
I believe it was the first or second week of June in
What year?
2011.
Well, now, here we are a year and some months later, sir. Do you want a motorcycle back that she has of yours?
I've actually been talking with her the whole year and a half, been trying to work something out to get the bike back, and we haven't been able to come to an agreement.
No. Well, here we're going to have an agreement right now. You moved out and she kept the bike. Is that what happened?
He moved out, he abandoned the bike, a truck, and his dog.
Let's start with the bike.
Yes.
When you moved out in June 2011, when was the next time you called her and asked her for your bike?
The very next day.
And what did she say?
I want $1,000.
Okay, so now you're going to go pick up your bike. I will give you an order. You can go with a marshal and pick up your bike.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Did you abandon your truck there?
Basically, yes.
It's not, I don't want to get basically. I want
Yes.
you to eliminate
Yes,
that
ma'am, I
filler
did.
word from your vocabulary.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you say you abandoned your truck, what do you mean you abandoned the truck? If you can't sit up, leave. Sit up straight like a person, like a grown-up person, like you're in a court, not a bar, and then you can stay. Otherwise, you can go. Do we
Gotcha.
understand each other?
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect.
Yes, I abandoned the vehicle. Only about a
Just a
$200
second.
vehicle.
Where did you abandon it?
It was parked in her driveway.
Great. And who did you expect was supposed to get rid of your garbage?
I had every intention of taking the truck.
Well, why didn't you?
Because I owed her money. She didn't want me to take the motorcycle or the
How
truck.
much did you owe her?
She said I
No,
owed
no.
her.
You said I owed her money.
Because she...
You said I owed her money.
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you owe her?
$600.
Great. Did you pay her the $600?
No, I did not.
Terrific. Now, what happened to your truck?
I picked the truck up, and I took it home.
Great. And what happened to your dog?
She abandoned the dog, and actually my neighbors have it right
Just
now.
a second. When you left, did you take your dog?
I did not.
Why not?
Because I got the dog from her. And at that time, there was no problem with me leaving the dog. She never told me to come pick the dog up. She never said that there was a problem with the dog staying there.
You better grow up, Mr. Bono. If you're 23 years old and living on your own, you got to learn to be a little more responsible.
I understand.
He's also going to give you $600 because after all this nonsense, madam, that's what he says. And I'm not so sure he's got a figure in mind, but that's what he says he owes you. He is not paying you for storage fees. He is not paying you for anything other than $600. I have no idea what kind of a house this is where you let young men stay and they do work around the house. Mr. Bono says he did enough work around the house to compensate for any rent that he might have been able to pay you. Clearly, you had the same arrangement with at least another of your tenants. He's going to get his bike back, and you're going to get $600. And I, madam, am going to lunch. Thank you. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm a little happy I'll be getting my motorcycle back.
I'm a little disappointed because, I did take care of the dog.
There was too many people in the house, too many people over there all the time.
I have a tendency to, lean more toward children that are having problems or what have you. I would much rather be in my house than on the street.
Like living in a frat house. I was ready for my own privacy again.
Well, that was not due to me. That was due to them bringing in frat house people.
Hopefully we got everything worked out and we can be acquaintances or even friends after this.
I will continue to help people. Unfortunately, that's just in my nature. I take in strays, both four-legged and two-legged.
I think I'm going to leave here happy. I think I'll be okay.
So Miss Henry is your sister. Is your claim that you made a loan to her
Yes.
for a car, the down payment on a car? When you tried to get her to cough up some of the money that she owed you, according to you, she pushed you downstairs and assaulted you. Ms. Thompson says the money was a gift and that you were wearing high heels, you probably tripped, right?
Yes.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 26.
How old are you?
19.
What do you do?
I'm a full-time college student.
What do you do?
Full-time college student, and I work at a hospital.
Why did you need your 19-year-old sister to give you money for a car?
I didn't need her. It was a gift. It was around the time.
No, just I'm asking you a question.
No, I
Why
didn't
would
need
an
her to.
older
She
sister
offered.
have to rely on a teenage sister to put a down payment on a car?
I wouldn't say that I relied on her. She offered it. And
No,
that's
I'm
it.
asking you a question. Not she offered it. Stop getting the drill in your head of, this is what I'm going to say. She offered it. It was a gift. I didn't have to pay it back. It wasn't a loan. I'm asking you a question. The question is, why would a 26-year-old woman need her teenage sister to put down a down payment on a car for her?
Because I didn't have the money at the time.
Then why did you get a car?
Because I needed one because my other one broke down.
Well, how do people usually get money for a car?
Through themselves, like from me.
Through themselves, right? Through working, not asking their teenage sister for money. So when your car broke down, what did you do?
I came into the house and I was speaking to Kalia. I got a rental car. I didn't come in and I didn't ask her for
Don't tell me
anything.
what you didn't do. I want to know the conversation. What
Okay,
you're
the
trying to do.
conversation, this is how it went. I came into the house. I sat down next to Kalia. I said, I got a rental car because my car broke down. She said, okay, how long you had a rental for? I told her I only had it for a week and I needed to get back and forth to work. I liked the car that I had for a rental car, which was a Kia. So she was like, well, why don't we just go to the dealership? I said, I don't have money to go to the dealership and I can't afford a car note. She said, well, I'll give you the money to put down on the car. What, it'll be like $500. I said, yeah. So she was like, call the dealership. She called the dealership and they were talking on the phone. So we drove to the car dealership. So we get in there with the guy. Kalia was all cocky. Oh yeah, I got $6,000 to put down today. So the guy's seeing green signs. But we knew it was like we didn't want to stay at that car dealership. So we went to one in Springfield. So when we got up there, the guy said, 500 is not going to be enough. You need more to look like you have good faith because your credit is not that good. So that's when Kalia said, okay, how much more do we need? So that's when the guy said about 2,000. So I was sitting there, I was waiting. I was like, I don't want to do it. But Kalia got up and she went and paid for it. So after that, I had my car.
Okay, now you want to tell me what happened?
Yes. On July, I was in the house sleep. She lives upstairs from us. We have a duplex, and I live downstairs with my mom and my little sister. So she came in, and she was upset. And I said, why are you upset? And she said, because I can't afford the rental for more than a week. And I said, well, how are you going to get back and forth to work? And she said, I don't know. And I was like, well, how much do you have? And she said, I don't have anything. And I said, well, I could loan you $500. And then when you...
Where would you get $500 from?
Oh, well, when I'm home from break, I work at night at Superfresh as a cashier. So I had about $2,000 in savings just from working over breaks.
Why are you laughing?
Because she's lying.
Where'd you get the money from?
Kalia's a liar. I don't know where she got it from,
No,
but
I'm
it's
just
not working at
asking you.
Superfresh. I don't know where she got it from, but she didn't get it from there.
Well, where do you think she got it from?
She has more money than what she said. So she made it seem like she was saving it up for oh so long, whatever.
I'm just asking you, where do you think she gets the money
Who
from?
knows? I don't know what Kalia do, but I'm just saying, I don't believe her.
Does she go
That's
to
just my
school?
opinion. She can get it from school, too.
No, I'm just asking you questions. I said, does she... Try to pay attention. Maybe move the hair away from your ear so you can hear me.
No, I can't hear out one ear.
My question is, does she go to school?
She does.
Full time?
Mm-hmm.
Is not an answer in
Yes.
court. Perfect. Got it.
So I agreed to lend her the $500. We drove to the first Kia dealership, but I could tell, like, the salesman, like, they were just trying to make a sell. So I said, you know what? Let's drive to Springfield. So we get to Springfield. It's a really good dealership. They tell us they have a used car, I think 9,000 miles for 11,000 maybe. And he said, you know, I would sell my daughter this car. It's really reliable. Somebody only had it for like 8 months before they traded it in. So I said, okay. So we were thinking we still only had to put down $500. But he had told me over the phone, if her credit is bad, she won't be approved at all. So I always had in the back of my mind, she may not get approved. So he ran her credit, and he said, you know, Capital One said they'll finance your car, but you have to put down $2,000. So she looked at me, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, $2,000, like that literally would leave me with $0 in my savings account. And I was still working every week, but I would be living paycheck to paycheck. So she said to me, well, if I sell my old car, the one that broke down, if I turn it in and they junk it at the junkyard, I'll get $400. And she said, and then my school owes me a refund check of $500, and I'll give you $300 of that, but I need the other $200 for when I change my insurance companies. So that'll be $700 that I can give you within the next couple of weeks. Okay. So I said, okay, you'll give me $700, you'll only owe me $1,300. And she said, I'll give you that other $1,300 by September the 10th, because she had just started working full-time, so her paychecks would be more money.
Fine, so that's how it came about.
Yeah.
She was going to give you the $700 and another $1,300 by September
yeah.
because she said started to work.
Yeah.
Where are you working full-time?
It's at a hospital, Riddle Memorial.
And what are you doing there?
A unit clerk.
What's your salary there?
I make $14.50 an hour, plus shift differential.
Okay, fine. Did she give you back any money?
She gave me $200 after a couple weeks went bad, and she never gave me any money. So I had to text her, and because she was going out shopping, buying CDs, and I said, "Can you?"
So she gave you back.
She gave me a $200 money order, and I deposited the money order, and then I spent the $200 because I didn't have any money at all except my paychecks from Superfresh. And a couple days later, my bank took $200 back out my account, and I called and I said, why did you guys take $200 out? And they said, well, the money order that you gave us, Western Union sent it back. They said it was already cashed. And I said, no, I never cashed it. I took it to a teller, and they deposited it. And they said, you need to call Western Union. So we called Western Union on three-way, PNC Bank, and they said, yeah, it was already cashed. The day that you deposited the money order, it was already cashed. So when PNC tried to get the money from us, we had to return the item.
From a check cashing place around our way in Philly. Like, that's not my fault. I bought a blank, I actually sent my boyfriend to get a blank money order for $200 because she harassed me.
Wait a minute. There you go. You sent the boyfriend to get the money order.
But it was a blank money order.
So far you owe her $2,000. You still have the same boyfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Kalia Thompson says her sister, Dania Henry, borrowed money to buy a car and never paid her back. Kalia says when she asked for repayment, Dania pushed her down the stairs.
Okay. Now you want to tell me about the assault?
Okay, so after they told me that the money order was returned, then they charged me an additional return fee, and I didn't have the money to pay that. So I knocked on her door, and, you know, we usually do go up her house a lot. So I opened the door, and I walked to the top of the steps, and I said, hey, the money order you gave me, they said it's already been cashed. And she came out, whatever, don't come in my house like this. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't come up my steps. And I said, no, you gave me a $200 money order, and I spent that money, and now they just took $200 back. I don't have anything in my account to cover that. And she's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. You better get out of my house. And I said, no, I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to show them the money order that they sent in the mail that is returned. So she pushed me, and when she pushed me, I was at the top of the steps, and I fell back. And when I fell back, I fell down the steps, and I sprained my ankle, twisted my ankle.
You have a medical bill?
No, I don't have health insurance, so I didn't go.
So what'd you do?
I just wrapped it up, and I just called out for a couple days and took over-the-counter medicine. But I have a picture, and I have a pay stub.
I'd like to see a picture. What happened when she came back to your house to tell you about the $200?
When she came up the steps.
Let me finish my question. What happened when she came to your house to tell you about the money order?
Okay, she came up the steps. I was in the room asleep. So I'm hollering about the money order. So I come out the room door, and she's standing at the top of the steps. Mind you, she's about to go out to a party, so she already had on high heels and a dress. So she's standing in front of me, so she's real hype. And I'm like, calm down, what are you talking about? She said, the money order that you gave me, it was already cashed, this, that, and other. I said, how can a blank money order be already cashed if I put your name on it and I signed it? She said, well, I need my money, this, that, and the other. You better give me my money. So she lunged forward, but when she went to go lunge forward, her foot went back. She fell down the steps on her own. I'm grown. I don't got time to be pushing this little girl down the steps. I have no reason to. I may not like my sister, but I love her. I'm not going to push her down the steps. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to do that.
Like her. What'd you take money from her for?
If you offer me money, I would take it from you, too.
Sadly, I know that that's true. You going to school part-time?
I go to school full-time.
And what does the boyfriend do?
He's in college and he works full-time.
Does he live with you?
Yes.
Does he pay rent?
Yes.
To whom?
To my landlord.
Sometimes.
Not sometimes.
Sometimes.
We go partial every month. We split it half and half. She don't like my boyfriend, so she'll say anything to make him look bad on
And
TV.
he probably stole the $200.
He gave her a blank money order.
No, the money order was not blank. I have a copy.
It's out to her. If you see her name with my signature on the bottom. So how can it be cash when her name is on it?
And the first page shows the day it was returned.
Well, the bank says it was already cashed.
I don't know how it's possible.
You had no medical bill? Is that correct?
No, I just had my pay stub to show that week I had to call out because I stand on my feet and I couldn't.
And how many days did you call out sick?
4 or 5 days.
You owe your sister the $2,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I don't believe it was fair. She gave it to me as a gift.
I'm very pleased with the decision.
I don't believe I should have had to pay her anything.
It was always a loan.
Why would I push her down the steps? I don't like her, but I love her. She's my sister. I'm not going to push her down the steps.
Well, we never really got along, so it hasn't really changed.
Well, it's kind of like everybody blames me for everything, but I don't care.
Don't let people borrow money anymore.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lopez versus Rodriguez, step forward.
Philip Lopez is suing his former landlady, Kathy Rodriguez, for holding on to his belongings after she locked him out of her home.
Miss Rodriguez, what kind of a facility do you own?
I have commercial property, and I named it, it's called the Jesse Soto House, for a minor that I...
Just a second. You own commercial property. What kinds of commercial property?
It's commercial property where I have a store, and I also have a home for people that are trying to be more responsible.
You have a store and rooms that you rent?
Right.
What state do you come from?
California.
Are you licensed by the state of California for people involved with drug or alcohol dependency?
No.
Do you hold any license whatsoever?
Yes.
In what?
For my store.
And what kind of a store is that?
It's a Puerto Rican store. It's where I sell Puerto Rican goods.
You mean food or knickknacks?
Puerto Rican items, yes. Flags, knickknacks.
All right. So you rent rooms above the store?
On the side of the store.
How many rooms do you rent on the side of the store?
4.
And that's also a commercial property?
Right.
You have a certificate of occupancy for those rooms from the city where you live?
No, I'm with the county, and the county is aware of it.
Don't tell me what the county is aware of. Do you have a certificate of occupancy to rent that commercial property as residence?
I don't have a certificate.
Well, what kind of a place is that place on the side of the store? Was that a single-family home?
It's a single-family home that was converted into commercial. So you could either live there and run a business, either or.
Okay, so the business you choose to run is renting rooms?
No.
In that property, that's your business?
It's separate.
No,
oh, yeah, yes, sorry.
That's your business?
Yes.
When did you rent the room, Mr. Lopez?
About February 28th.
How much a month?
$575.
What did you get for $575 a month?
I got a one room with a bathroom.
Okay, did you pay rent for March?
Yes.
$575.
Yes, I was late for my rent there, but I paid a $75 late fee.
Did you pay in April?
No, I didn't in April.
Did you live there in April?
No, I didn't.
What happened in April?
In April, about April 4th, I took care of my children, my kids, and on that day, my son off with his mother, and fortunately, I had to stay away from her. And
she's not the mother of your children.
No, she's not. No, she's not.
So you were arrested?
Yes, I was arrested.
Okay, and that was on April 4th?
April 4th.
Okay, and you evicted him?
Yes.
You locked him out, packed up his clothes, and that was on April 4th?
No.
On what date?
I'm going to say the 10th or the 12th.
Don't say the 10th or the 12th.
The 12th.
Don't say the 10th or the 12th, because I have your answer right here. You say, on April 4th, I texted him saying he needed to pay me my rent by 6 o'clock, or I would serve him with an eviction notice. I asked my niece if she had heard from him, and she said he was in jail. I went online and saw that he was in jail, and so I packed his things and stored them.
Which was on the 9th and the 10th is when they got packed.
Is that when you did it, on the 9th?
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Yes.
So you don't expect him to pay you rent for April?
Yes.
Well, he's not going to pay you rent for April. He couldn't live in the place in April. You threw
was
him
in
out.
jail.
So what? If you want him to pay rent, you can't take his stuff in April and box it up. He would have had to pay rent if you left his things intact. When did you get out of jail, sir?
On the 11th.
Of April?
Of April.
You can't get rent.
I have a contract.
I don't care if you have a contract. You can't evict somebody and then expect to get paid rent. Now, this whole case is about his things. You have his things. He's coming to get them with a marshal. And the marshal will also observe the kind of premises that you're running as a commercial business. But when the marshal comes, he's to get all of his property. Where is it?
It's in storage next to the house.
Does he need a key to get in?
Yes, he does.
Fine. Then 5 days from today, sir, you will arrive with a police officer. She will unlock the storage and you will get all of your property. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, a very good lesson, Ms. Rodriguez. If you want somebody to pay rent, you can't evict them mid-month and expect them to pay rent for that month. Now, Mr. Lopez lived in your apartment April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, which means he was there in the month of April. And had you left his things, I would have said to him, you have to pay Ms. Rodriguez her $575 for the month of April, because his place wasn't available to him. You made his place unavailable to him in April, so you don't get paid. You have any question about that?
Yes.
Well, what's your question? I thought I explained it to you in English.
But I do have a written contract that states that when they violate certain rules within the house, that they do have to leave the premises immediately, because it's not like renting a room as if he was
All it
living
is
with me.
renting a room. Did you ever take any classes and have any certificates, hold any licenses in being a substance abuse counselor? The answer is either yes or no, and then I'll hear from what jurisdiction.
Yes, I do have certification.
From what jurisdiction do you have certification as a substance abuse counselor?
From Santa Clara County Probation Department. I have training in domestic
I didn't ask you
violence.
whether you had training. I asked you whether you hold any licenses as a substance abuse counselor in any jurisdiction. That's very easy to find out. All I have to do is go online.
I'm not a substance abuse counselor that has that type of house.
Then you
I
rent
think you have it
rooms.
wrong.
Period.
No, but I have a written contract, and
He doesn't owe you for rent.
But I also talked to Echo Housing, and I am allowed to do that.
Listen to me carefully.
I am listening.
He doesn't owe you rent. You locked him out. In the month that you are seeking rent, he doesn't owe you any rent. He is to get his property back. Your counterclaim is dismissed. He's coming within 5 days to get his property. Don't mix up commercial premises, madam, with premises that are designed to help people get clean and sober. You don't know what you're talking about. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you, John.
That's funny.
Pardon our excuse. You may step out.
Thank you. He was drinking.
I don't drink.
And he made advances at me. He was in jail for domestic violence towards his wife.
I mean, I have ladies, you know what I mean? So I don't need to advance to anyone, like, you know, especially my landlord.
I think is really disappointing because she's my sister.
We did have a signed contract that once he didn't come back and get his stuff, that I am allowed to keep it.
I used to rent there too, and she did the same to me, took all my stuff and got rid of it.
That's fine. I don't have a problem.
I don't know why she took it out in the first place. She shouldn't have never touched my stuff.
I needed to rent the place out because that's what I do. We rent rooms.
Don't go to Mrs. Rodriguez's place.
It really didn't matter to me, to be honest with you.
Maybe she will learn from this because, you know, she can't keep doing that to me.
Mr. Galante's mother.
Yes.
And you made the loan to his mother at a time when she was contemplating divorce from his father.
Yes.
And it was for a lawyer?
Yes, it's lawyer's fees.
Lawyer's fees.
Mm-hmm.
In what month or year was that?
It was a long time ago. It was
Well, give me approximately.
1999.
And in what year did your mother pass away, sir?
She passed away in 2009.
And you are the executor of her estate?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see a copy of her will?
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's what this case is about. This case is about you being repaid this loan. Now, do you have any documentation with regard to the loan that you made to his mother?
I have a canceled check from my Schwab account for $5,000. And it doesn't say who it's to, but it was taken out of my retirement savings.
How much money was in her estate, your mother's estate?
I received a life insurance policy for $50,000.
What else was in her estate?
A house.
Who got the house?
I got the house.
Are you living in the house?
I'm not currently, no, ma'am.
Could you keep your voice up? Are you living in the house? The answer is no.
No.
Did you sell it?
No.
What are you doing with it?
I'm renting it out.
Now, it's clear in this that she, in the will, bequeathed to Miss Baker $5,000. Was this will probated?
Will was probated.
And?
And probate is closed.
And?
And Miss Baker never took it up with probate court.
What does that mean?
That means she is suing me personally for this money. Meanwhile, she should have went through probate. She should have sued the estate.
Nah. She doesn't have to sue the estate. Why does she have to sue the estate? You're the executor.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with you. What do you do for a living?
I'm a bartender.
You're a bartender?
Yeah.
Where do you come from?
Georgia.
I don't like you. I think that you're a thief. You have children?
No.
You have a partner?
Yes.
Just letting whoever your partner is know that you're a thief. She doesn't have to sue anybody. It's your responsibility as executor to follow the last wishes of your mother.
She was notified by the court, okay, to come get her money.
How could she come get her money? From where? Was she
She was
supposed to
notified by the court
Just a second. Show me.
I had to push the will through probate, okay, because the will was signed incorrectly, okay? So if there is no will, there is no money.
Just a second. I'm asking you, are you an only child?
Yes.
Does your mother have brothers and sisters?
One.
If the will is invalid, sir, you may not get everything.
I did not receive everything. My mother had a retirement pension fund that I did not receive.
Who did she give that to?
That went to her husband.
Whose husband?
My mother's husband.
The one she was divorcing?
No, the one that she remarried.
Oh, good. You're a thief.
Not a thief.
You are a thief.
Not a thief.
Oh, yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Oh, listen, they're going to turn your mic off faster than they're going to turn
Go ahead,
mine.
turn my mic
Then
off.
they're going
I'm
to
not
turn.
a thief.
Oh, yes. If your mother said, from whatever money is left in my estate, I am going to
whatever
repay.
money is left in
just
the
a
estate,
second. Well, there's
after funeral bills, after bills, okay, there's no money left.
Oh, sure there is. There's a house.
No, there's a house.
Oh, there's a house that you're renting.
Yeah.
That's not yours, that you didn't work a lick for, that you didn't buy, that you didn't paint, that you did nothing for. That's your mother's property. Your mother has said the first thing, she's married, she has one child, Peter Anthony, that would be you.
Correct.
This will is made in contemplation of the future birth of children to me or adoption of children. That's not. Item 4, the automobiles, furniture, furnishings, appliance, rugs, and all insurance, I bequeath to my son Peter right after you. I bequeath the sum of $5,000 to Josie Baker.
Did you see page 7 and 8 where it's not signed correctly by witnesses?
How did you get the house?
I pushed the will through probate myself.
So, just a second. What does that mean, Mr. Gelante? What does that mean? You pushed the will through probate. The will was probated, which means that Be quiet. Be quiet. You pushed the will through probate, which means that you benefited from having the will probated.
Probate is closed. She should have sued the estate for the money when probate was open. She drug her feet.
Why does she have to sue anybody?
Why?
Yes.
Why
don't you just...
Because she's not a good person.
Why?
She's not a good person.
Oh, there you go.
She meddles in my family's affairs consistently.
That's not your business.
Sick and tired of her.
That's not your business, whether she's a good person or not, because it's not your money. It's your mother's money. And your mother can do whatever she wants with your money. If she wants to put it in a pipe and smoke it, that's what she can do with it. And it's not your business. Since when do children think that they somehow have the right to dictate what their parents are supposed to do with their money? You're outrageous. You don't like her because she was meddling in your family's business and was instrumental? That's tough.
Oh.
That's tough. Your mother said she's supposed to get her money back. That's what your mother said. She helped me in a time of need, and I want her to get her money back. How do you know what the relationship was between your mother and father? Nobody knows that. No child knows that.
No child knows what the relationship is between their mother and their father?
No child knows.
Really?
No child knows.
Really?
I have 5. You have no children, right?
Correct.
You have no children.
Right.
I have 5 children. 11 and a half grandchildren. And I'm going to tell you, my children don't know what goes on in my house. And I don't know what goes on in their house.
Don't have an idea.
Listen to me.
You think they don't have an idea what goes on in your house?
Let me tell you something,
They
sir.
know what goes on in your house.
Let me tell you something, sir.
They know.
If you were really smart at your age, you could tell me.
You think?
You could. I know. That's why I'm
because
here.
I don't have a child?
Listen to me,
Because I don't
sir.
have a child, you're gonna
Mr.
chastise
Gigante?
me? My name's Galante.
Mr.
okay?
Galante, let me tell you this, sir. It's your mother's money, not yours. Your mother's. And she has a right to say, this lady...
You think a child should have to pay for their parents' divorce? Is that what you think?
You
think a child should have to pay for their parents' divorce?
Just a second.
Is that my problem?
Just a second. You're a moron. In addition to being a thief, you're also a moron. You weren't asked to pay for your parents' divorce. She paid for the divorce. She did. And your mother said, I want to pay her back with my money. Not with your money. You're a bartender. You haven't seen $5,000 in a week in a long time. Judging for the
I don't make
plaintiff
as
and the
much
amount
money
of
as you,
$5,000. You make as much money as I do? I doubt it.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I didn't have to say anything. She stood up for me. I appreciate it.
A child should not have to pay for their parents' divorce.
I was just helping my friend, and I was just being supportive.
My mother left money to me, and I feel like I'm not responsible for her debt.
He told me he would honor the wishes, but then he never did.
Always listen to your mother, I guess.
My children think I let people walk all over me, so they pushed me to come in and do this, and I'm glad I did.
Ms. Zamora, you claim that the defendant, who's your cousin, keyed your car and damaged it. The defendant denies she keyed your car, and she's got a counterclaim for pulling out her hair. I have to tell you, Miss Bertrand, I was pretty distressed when I read the complaint and even your answer. You clearly had a problem with your husband, and according to the plaintiff, you called her and asked if you could come over to her house with your 2 children. Is that right?
Yes.
And the problem with your husband had to do with another man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you came over to your cousin's house with your 2 children and the other man.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
What time did you get to your cousin's house?
Around 10:30ish.
At night?
Yes.
Who was at her house?
Maddie, Jackie, her daughter.
Who are those people?
Those are my cousins. And then you came up, and then...
Was there a party going on, or was it
we were just over there drinking.
Who was drinking?
All of us.
Were you and your boyfriend drinking before you came to your cousin's house?
No.
Okay. Now, when you had a fight with your husband and called and said, I want to come over, did you pick up your boyfriend on the way over?
No, he was there already, at my house already.
And where was your husband?
He was at his mother's house.
Were you separated from your husband?
Yes.
For how long?
2 months.
Okay. So you get over to your cousin's house and everybody's drinking, including you and the boyfriend.
Yes.
How are you supposed to get home?
We plan to stay a night there.
Okay. Now you want to tell me what happened?
Yes. My friend had grabbed the wrong beer, which is her nephew, a minor, and everybody got in my friend's face over a beer. And so my friend tried to leave, and I asked him not to leave because he's been drinking. And he tries to leave, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to call my mom to come pick us up. I went into her room to get my kids, and I go to her room to try to get my kids. She's like, no, you're not taking your kids. You're drunk. I'm like, I'm taking my kids with me. They're my kids. I'm taking them with me. She's like, no.
That's my problem. So she said to you, you're not taking the children. You're drunk.
Yeah.
And you said to her, they're my children. I'm going to take them.
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then before I wake my kids up, I call my mom.
What time did you call your mother?
It was probably around 2.
2 in the morning?
Yes.
What is wrong with you?
I wanted to get out of her house. She was acting
What
crazy.
is wrong with you? You want to get out of the house? Go. Your children were sleeping. Let your children sleep. That was your plan.
She was acting crazy. She was yelling at everybody.
So where did you go after you woke your children up?
We went outside to Elijah, my friend's car.
Your boyfriend's car?
Yes.
You went outside to your boyfriend's car, who was also drunk?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And I was trying to get the kids inside.
Inside?
The car.
Why?
Just to wait in the car until my mom came and got us.
Why couldn't your children wait in the house, in the bedroom?
Marcella was running around yelling at everybody.
What was she yelling?
Over a beer.
So far, you're not acting responsibly with your 2 children.
I understand that, ma'am.
Good. I'm glad you do.
I have not drank since that night. I quit smoking, I quit drinking since that night because of my kids.
Then I give you a gold star. But let's get back to that night. So now you're trying to put your kids in your boyfriend's car, who was also drunk, and?
Then I was going through a divorce, and me and my husband had agreement with my son on where my son's going to stay at. She brought my son. That's why you don't have custody of your son now, because you're a bad mother. I said, how are you going to bring up my son when you have a 19-year-old daughter you gave away when she was a baby? And Jackie and Maddie, they both go, oh, no. They brought up Jasmine, oh, no. And they walked up to me and grabbed me by my hair in front of my kids. And Jackie let go first, and then Maddie still didn't want to let go. She had my hair for like a good 4 minutes, and then Jackie told her 4 times, Mom, just let go already. Mom, let go, let go. She did not want to let go. She finally let go when my daughter started screaming, and she pulled a chunk of my hair out when she let go.
What happened to her car?
There was people out that night. There was people outside that lived in the apartment complex, outside drinking at their car, listening to music.
So what you're telling me is you didn't touch her car?
No, I did not.
Great. Now, Miss Zamora, I got the picture. Now, your car got keyed. I want to see the pictures of your car.
I have those here in the police report.
I'd like to take a look at them.
Here you go, sir.
You still with the boyfriend, by the way?
No.
He didn't want to give up drinking. Okay, so your car was very badly keyed. Now you're going to tell me what proof you have that she did it.
That night, ma'am, there was a confrontation. She took the kids. That is when everything got heated. I was arguing with her, telling her not to take her children because she had been for her mother. She wanted to go with the boyfriend.
Right.
So
I gathered that.
Yeah, she wanted to go with the boyfriend, and the first thing she did was she went and grabbed the beer that she had brought from her house when they were drinking before they came to my house. So they had already been drinking before they got to my house. That is when I said, oh, you would grab the beer first before you think of your kids. So then she put the beer in his car, went to my bedroom, woke these kids up out of their sleep. I got in between and said, leave the kids here. You can pick them up tomorrow. She yanked her daughter and said, get your effing A out of the bed. We're going right now.
How old?
That made me mad. I believe one is like 7 and the other one is like 3 or 4. 2 girls. Mind you, she does not have her son with her either. Her husband has her son. So it was a very heated argument. So I got very angry. I followed her out the door. We argued. So then She had mentioned my daughter that I had when I was 16 years old. So I went and I got in, not Jacqueline, I got in her face and we were arguing. She went to slap me or whatever she did, and that's how I got the mark on my neck, and we went at each other's hair. We were pulling hair for I don't know how long when this one said, my daughter Jacqueline ran up, and my 17-year-old ran up and tried to pull us apart. Once the fight was over, they pulled us apart. She got on her phone acting crazy, calling the cops and saying, there's a bunch of minors here, and my cousins just jumped me. So I went to my truck, got my ID out, and I told everyone else, have your IDs ready because the cops are going to come. Let's all go inside. Even the boyfriend left her outside. We all went inside and left her.
Where were the children?
The children were in his car with her. He said he was not going to drive with the kids in the car. So he asked if he could stay and sober up before he left. I said, that's fine. The police are on their way. So we waited inside. Pauline is screaming and laughing like a psycho outside. So I went to my door, and I'm like, what is she doing? I look outside, and I see her and the kids running in the parking lot. She is leaving behind my truck, but I did not assume that she would be doing anything to my vehicle. So I said, she's acting crazy, and I shut the door. A few minutes later, there was a knock at my door. I thought it was the police. Someone answered the door, and it was my Aunt Rose, her mother. My Aunt Rose came and said, where's the...
Don't tell me what Rose said.
She came for the girls' blankets. So we went in the room, she grabbed the girls' blankets. I told her Polly had a little too much to drink and she wants to drive with the kids. She proceeded to walk out the door. Jacqueline and her friends, I don't know if they were already out or walking out as all this is happening, but they're outside. Pauline is getting in the vehicle with my aunt and taking off when the girls notice my truck is all keyed. So Jacqueline screamed something out to Pauline as she was leaving. I don't know if you would like her to speak up.
Yeah, I would.
Jacqueline, please.
Well, I was outside with 3 friends, and before we had went inside, everybody, we were leaning on our truck, and there was no scratch marks whatsoever. Well, after that 10 minutes passed, while Pauline was outside alone, we then went back outside, and we noticed that our truck was all of a sudden keyed. And then she jumps into her mother's car, and I run towards the car, and I say, really? You're going to key our truck like that? That's how you feel? Like 5-10 minutes later, I get a text message from her saying, that's how I feel, payback's.
Do you have that?
On the phone.
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
It has time and date on it. 8/11/12:56 a.m. She's the yellow text, I'm the purple.
So, what does that mean?
I was never outside by myself.
I'm asking you what it means when you say, yes, that's how I feel, payback's. What does that mean?
I didn't text her. She texted me first and said...
That's what you wrote to her.
No.
What does that mean?
I never sent her that text message.
Okay. Yes, you did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Mauri Zamora says her cousin, Pauline Bertrand, keyed her truck after a drunken scuffle.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, I was outside by myself, like, no more than 30 seconds when my mom went and got the blankets for my girls. I wouldn't have had enough time to do all that. I saw the pictures on Facebook. They both battered me in front of my kids.
No, you battered each other. Police officers actually saw marks. The police officers actually saw marks on her.
She has a battery to an officer. You think she's not going to batter me?
I don't know that. I'm just reading the police report.
I got my police report, too.
I'm going to read it.
And I got a statement from my niece, too. She was bragging that they got me.
I don't. Listen to me. Do you know that I didn't let her tell me what other people told her, including your boyfriend? I don't read statements.
Yes, ma'am.
You behave badly, and there's a good reason for you to stop drinking.
I have. 3 months I've quit drinking.
Now, how old is your mother?
60.
What does she do for a living?
She makes refrigerators for RVs.
Where?
At Domedic.
What time does she go to work?
6 a.m.
And what time did she come to pick you up?
It was between 2 and 3 a.m.
And your mother doesn't have to be at work until 6?
She didn't have to work the next day.
Great.
It was a Friday night.
Great. So then you lied to the police when the police said, I asked her why she left the scene prior to my arrival, and she stated her mother needed to go to work.
She had a doctor's appointment that morning.
Listen to me. That's what you told the policeman. That's why I asked you these questions.
Yes.
Okay, do you have an estimate, please?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And Bert, could you also get me her police report, the defendants? What kind of car do you have?
I have a 99 Ford Expedition.
Okay. Bert, just do me a favor, please look up the value of a 1999 Ford Expedition, would you please?
V6, V8?
V8, I believe.
It's a 4-door wagon, XLT, 8-cylinder.
4650?
Now, Am I correct, madam, that you didn't go to make this police report until November 7th?
Yes.
And that's despite the fact that the incident happened in August? So you went to make the police report before you were coming to court?
This is my cousin, my favorite cousin.
Listen to me. I don't care if it's your favorite cousin. I have one police report that was made the date of the incident by her. I have one police report that was made 3 months later, right before you came to court, by you, with a counterclaim. Am I correct with regard to that? Right. Your counterclaim's dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She called and said that her husband walked in to their house, busted her with another man, and asked if they can come over to my house.
Because my husband had came over, I had a friend over, and...
Now, later on, after this whole incident happened, she was telling...
I just didn't want no drama with my husband.
Her husband, that man was actually there waiting for me. And I had never met him before in my life.
I told my husband that he's just a friend. I've never had no kind of relationship with him or nothing.
Yeah, I'm her favorite cousin, and she used me like that.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Krosky versus Telez. Step forward.
21-year-old Crystal suing her ex-roommate, 21-year-old Angel Telez, for unpaid rent and for vandalizing her home by drawing on her walls.
The defendant was your roommate?
Yes.
For how long?
From October 14th, 2011 to July 31st of 2012.
Was it your apartment?
Yes, it's my apartment.
And you rented a room to him?
I rented the living room to him, yes.
How much did he pay in rent?
$300.
And he slept on a couch that he bought?
Yes, that he brought off the streets.
How much was your entire rent?
$810.
Anybody else live in the apartment?
No.
You claim that he moved out and he owes you rent?
Yes.
And damaged some property?
Yes.
For what months does he owe you rent?
He owes me rent from July, and I feel since he didn't give me a 30-day...
Just a second. Did he pay rent in July?
No.
Were you there at all in July?
Yes, I moved out in the end of July.
So you owe her July's rent?
I gave her July's rent.
You gave her July's rent?
I gave her July's
rent.
rent.
Did he?
No, he did not.
Show me.
I have a bank statement here saying that I had took out the withdrawal from the ATM that before, because I got paid the 22nd, took it out the 23rd, and I gave her that day, as I did every single month before that. I had never missed a payment. I paid on the first of the month.
Well, then if you paid on the first of the month, you have to show me June. This is July 24th. ATM withdrawal, $300. Why would you pay her on July 24th if you were moving out the end of the month?
I've got the wrong statement. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
What?
I got the wrong statement.
You got the wrong statement.
I don't believe it's the wrong statement, but...
When did you give notice that you were moving out?
2 weeks before.
Tell me why.
Living conditions were horrible. In the beginning, she said I was living on a couch. I was living on a hardwood floor, paying $300. And then she said there was nobody else living there.
You were living there since October 2011, so...
From October to maybe 2 or 3 months before I moved out, I barely got the couch. So for that whole time, I was on the floor. Hardwood floor.
Listen, that's your prerogative. You're a big boy. You don't want us to live on the floor? Go get a sofa bed. Go get something. Go get a mattress.
He knew the conditions before I'd even moved, and I told
Doesn't
him.
matter.
Yeah.
I just want to know, you left the end of July.
Mm-hmm.
Show me where you paid July's rent.
I actually don't have evidence. I'm sorry.
When he didn't pay July's rent on July 1st, did you have a discussion with him?
I talked to him at the end of the month, the 31st, when he had left, telling him that you owe me July's rent, and he told me that he didn't owe me anything.
Do you think he owes you a month's rent because he didn't give you 30 days' notice?
I feel he owes me July's.
I don't care what you feel.
He definitely owes me July's rent. He did not pay me for the month of July.
Didn't you discuss that with him?
He would have been paying me July's rent in like the end of August. So that's why I didn't think nothing. At the end of July, I mean.
Oh, well then
But he did not give me that money. That money never came to me.
So he didn't give it to you. He withdrew it,
he
but he
withdrew
didn't
it, but
give
never
it to
gave
you.
it to me.
So she says, Your Honor.
And I
So
have
she says,
proof in
Your
here
Honor.
saying that he doesn't owe me.
What?
So she says.
So she says.
Yeah, so
No,
I
I
said, but I
believe
have
her.
the proof saying that you don't owe
I
me.
believe her. You didn't fight hard enough.
It's not true, Your Honor.
Because if you told her you were moving out 2 weeks before, that would have been in mid-July. I would have gotten a receipt for that at the end of July when you made the payment.
She didn't get a receipt for when I put the deposit or the rest of the stuff. There was no receipts for any other months.
Don't fight with each other.
Okay.
Okay. So I have to decide whether you actually gave her the $300. I find that you didn't. What else do you think he owes you for?
Property damage.
What's the damage?
I have pictures where he drew on my walls. I have pictures where he scratched my floors with the couches that he had brought in, and then also couches that he had left in my house.
Okay, let's take a look. Now, these are very lovely drawings on the wall. Do you have a child?
Yes, I do.
How old?
She's 4.
Did you ever babysit for a child?
Oh, multiple times.
Multiple times.
Which I received
Is that when these were drawn?
Yes, Your Ma'am. And they were drawn in pencil, which can
They were
easily
not
come off with
drawn in
soap and
pencil.
water.
They were drawn from a marker set that this lady over here bought for him.
When?
When did he draw them? I don't know when he drew them. I don't remember exact dates. When not in May.
June?
Not in June.
July?
Nope.
When?
I don't remember.
Well, then that's your problem.
I mean, they were drawn by him.
I don't care. If you're telling me that he drew maliciously on your wall.
He did it purposely. Why would you draw on someone's wall?
Are you listening to me?
Yes, I am.
If it didn't bother you when he drew it, and it wasn't...
I told him
okay,
multiple
listen
times
to me
to take
carefully.
it off.
Carefully. Listen to me. You took his money in May and June.
Yes.
And he didn't draw on your walls, according to you, in May, June, or July. That's what you just said. So it had to be before. It had to be before, so it wasn't something that clearly bothered you. You're not getting any money for it. Next.
Okay.
Next.
I have been told that since he left couches at my house that I can get him for another month of rent.
That's too bad.
Okay.
To get him for. That's exactly what it is.
And Your Honor, the real reason why she had to paint the wall supposedly, because
Listen to me. I don't care. They're lovely little drawings. They didn't bother her when you did it for a child.
They did bother me, and I told
well,
him
then you
about
should have
it.
given him a 30-day notice.
Okay.
You don't come bother me now with nonsense that may have happened 6 months ago.
It didn't happen 6 months ago. That I know it didn't.
That you remember. Case is dismissed. That's all. You get nothing.
Bodies are excused. You may step out.
It's just the living conditions are horrible.
You see the pictures, you see that his living conditions were just as terrible.
She was collecting rent from other people.
I was not collecting rent from nobody.
Stealing from the government, too.
Even if I was, how would he know?
Watch out for living conditions and people like her.
Next time if I go into court, I won't have so many outbursts.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Seidler versus Cusis, step forward.
24-year-old Grant Seidler is suing ex-roommate Demetra Trina Cusis for rent, travel expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering.
Mr. Seidler, the defendant was your roommate, is that right?
Yes, former roommate, Your Honor.
And how long was she your roommate?
For about 4 years.
From when to when?
From 2008 to early 2012.
When did you move out?
He kicked me out in January.
Of 2012?
Correct.
Okay, great. Now you think she owes you some money. You want to tell me what you think she...
Back rent, Your Honor.
Just
Back
a
rent,
second. Let's start. She lived with you for 4 years.
Yes.
In what month didn't she pay you rent?
September up to January before she left.
Now, did you move to have her evicted in October?
No, Your Honor.
Did you move to have her evicted in November?
No, Your Honor.
In December?
No, Your Honor.
Did you move to have her evicted in January?
No, Your Honor. Your Honor, she had owed me some money from earlier, and the agreement was that she would pay me back that and then pay me rent. And when rent would come, she told me that her parents were going to give her money and that I gave her time to get that from her parents, and that would fall through, Your Honor. And then she said she was applying for second jobs, and she had interviews and told me that she was a candidate, and then that fell through as well.
If somebody doesn't pay rent, and the rent is important to you, then you evict them.
Yes.
What's next?
I'm suing her for loss of wages.
For what?
I had to take off that I found out that she opened up a fraudulent account in my name.
She opened a fraudulent account in your name, according to you, with a dentist.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you had some dental work done?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
And he was billed for it. It went on his credit card?
It did. He had given me a credit card while he was working overseas to use for emergency purposes. I had asked him for permission to use that credit card for $100, which did happen. The dentist then told me it would be more money and offered to open up a care credit account. And at that time, they had my insurance card, my license, and that credit card. So I just assumed it was going in my name. I signed it my name, and I didn't realize I had gone to his account.
Okay. You don't owe any money to the dentist now, correct?
I do not, Your Honor.
She did, in fact, take care of that.
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Did you pay the dentist?
I did not, Your Honor.
Did you pay the dentist?
I had started paying it off, yes.
What does that mean?
I had started paying it off, and then when Grant came home from overseas working, he found out about the account being in his name. That's when I tried to work to get the account off of his name.
Are you paying the dentist?
At this point, no, Your Honor.
Why not?
Because it's no longer in my name, Your Honor.
Whose name is it?
It is in his name.
Well, he's not paying the dentist, so that means the dentist isn't getting paid. Why?
I would pay it if I had it to pay, Your Honor.
But I thought you said you took care of it. How do you take care of that if the dentist still isn't being paid?
I had attempted to take care of it to change it over into my name. It's still maintained in his name, however.
How much is the bill?
Around $2,000.
What do you mean around $2,000?
It was just under $2,000 to get the tooth fixed.
Is the dentist looking to you to payment?
No longer anymore, Your Honor.
What happened?
In 2010, when the statement came to the House, she took the statement before and ripped it up.
Listen to me. That's 2010. Okay. I don't remember 2010. That's a long time ago. I want to know how you recently got the dentist off your back.
Yes.
And on to hers, hopefully.
From 2010 to 2012, she was corresponding with her uncle, who is an attorney up in Massachusetts, saying that he was dealing with the case for me to get it removed off my account. In 2012 of February, Your Honor, I had found out that the email she had given me for her uncle was, in fact, created by herself, which I have evidence here showing.
I don't care. I don't care about that. I would just like to see something so that I'm positive you know what you're talking about, that you no longer have any liability with regard to the dentist.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have that?
I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Perfect. So, what you're asking for is lost wages for the amount of time it took to clean up this mess.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, tell me how much time it took.
I took off a total of 9 days, Your Honor.
What did you do in the 9 days?
I had to deal with going to downtown, talking to an attorney, going to the courthouse back and forth, contacting the credit bureau, Your Honor, and the dentist as well.
And that took 9 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
How much do you earn a day?
About $14, Your Honor.
$14 a day?
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you do that you make $14 a day?
I'm a character trainer, Your Honor.
What does that mean?
I train characters to act, Your Honor, and theme parks.
Oh, who do you work for?
In Florida, the Disney company.
And the Disney company pays you $14 a day? $14 an hour?
$14 an hour, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
So they have a reputation, but $14 a day.
That's goofy.
Yeah. You work an 8-hour day?
Typically from 8 to 12, Your Honor.
What else?
I'm suing her for the creditor monitoring software I have had in place for $30 a month since February.
Listen, she's not going to pay for everything that hurts you, Mr. Seidler. But I think because of what you did and using your credit card inappropriately, I would want to be compensated at an hourly rate for the time that it took me to clean up my business as a result of somebody else abusing a privilege, which is exactly what she did. She abused a privilege that you gave her by using your credit card without your permission.
For a moment?
Yeah.
The credit card that was used for emergencies while I was overseas, Your Honor, was for something completely different. The one she created was a different credit card completely, Your Honor.
Got it. $1,000 is what you were out the 9 days pay, and you were not paid for those days.
Correct.
Okay, fine. Rent is your problem. I would have thrown her out if she didn't pay me rent the first month. But you have to compensate him for the time that it took to clean up your mess. That's $1,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you.
While you're excused, you may step out.
When she got home, I had asked her to about the situation.
I was trying to help him. Yes, the attorney was not my Uncle Hank, as I had originally told him.
And she had lied to me and said that it was some other lawyer that she had impersonated.
I don't feel like I did lie. I was talking to my uncle at the beginning, and then it changed to a different attorney, and then I just never told him.
I feel like she got away with fraud for creating this credit account as well.
But I was doing my best to help the situation. I wasn't trying to do anything malicious.
I don't know. I'm just sorry that he won the case because I'm the one who suffered and paid for his mistakes.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Severson versus Cheney. Step forward.
Lindsay Severson is suing her ex-boyfriend, Glenn Cheney, for a loan to repair his truck and for damaging her car when he kicked it and jumped on it.
Severson, you and the defendant lived together for how long?
For approximately 8 months.
Did you move into a place together, or did you move into his place or he into yours?
He moved into mine.
When did he move in?
Was in December 2011.
You claim that he owes you some money for a loan that you made him to repair his truck.
Correct.
And then he wanted a car.
Yes.
You said you would help him buy the car by putting the loan in your name.
Correct.
When you broke up, according to you, he had been making payments on the car.
No, he never made payments on the car.
That's not true, Your Honor.
He says he had, you'd say he didn't. Anyway, you took the car.
Yes.
When you left, because the loan was in your name and the title was in your name.
Correct.
And you claim that he got very angry and he damaged the car.
Correct.
So you want him to pay for the repairs on the car.
Yes, I do.
Mr. Cheney says that the money that you gave him to repair his truck was a gift. There was never any discussion of him paying you back.
It was
that
a loan.
Money. And with regard to the car, he says you have some nerve suing him for the car because he made car payments and it was really supposed to be his car even though it was in your name.
That's not correct.
Let's deal with the car first. Now, Mr. Cheney, we agree on certain facts. That the car was purchased for your benefit.
That's correct.
But with her credit.
That's correct.
When was it purchased?
I believe it was around February.
And when did the two of you separate?
In August.
So you had the car for maybe 5 months.
Around.
Right? And what were the car payments?
They were $175 a month, I believe.
And that was because she was able to get a good deal on credit. Did you put any money down on the car?
No, we did not.
So you paid $175 a month. Let us assume for the moment, Mr. Cheney, that for $175 a month, you had the use of a car.
That's correct.
You had no other investment in it. And she took the car because she didn't want to be responsible for paying the bill on the car or insurance or anything else while you're not a couple anymore. So she took it.
That's correct.
Well, I think that she's very smart, and I think that was a very good idea that you did that. And, Mr. Cheney, you had a car that you couldn't have gotten cheaper if you rented a car anyplace else. You drove a car for $175 a month. Good deal for you. So the only thing that I have to determine is whether or not you caused any damage to the car.
He kicked the car, and he jumped on the hood of the car. I have pictures of scrapes.
When
and
did he do it?
Dents. He did it on August 3rd.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding that.
I came home that afternoon to come pick him up, and he was not at home. I called him and asked him where he was at. He told me he was at home, and I said I was already there. He told me he was at a bar then, and that he would be home soon. He came home and he was very intoxicated, got angry at me for absolutely no reason, kicked over my barbecue, and then went out and started damaging the car. After that, he came towards me and he pushed me, and I called the police.
That's not correct,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Can I see pictures of the car, please?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Cheney, you say that none of that ever happened?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have a police report?
I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. The police took pictures of the dents on the side of the car, sir.
The dents on the side of the car were there prior to when we bought the car.
Did you ever have any run-ins with the maintenance worker?
Yes, I did.
You did. Tell me when you had a run-in with the on-site maintenance worker.
That day
Tell
when
me about the run-in you had with him.
he had said something to me.
What did he say to you?
I don't quite remember, Your Honor.
He told you to stop kicking her car. Plaintiff, when she pointed out where you had damaged the car, also pointed out to the police that there were other marks on the car, which she pointed out to the police and told them that they were pre-existing, that they had nothing to do with you. Then she pointed out the dents that were caused by Cheney. That would be you. Police were interesting. Police pointed out the dents caused by Cheney. The dents were low along the bottom of her car. One of the dents had what appeared to be brown paint smears. The color matched the color of the boot polish on Cheney's brown cowboy boots.
That's not correct, Your Honor.
I'm just reading what the police saw, sir.
I did kick the wheel of the car.
Ah, there we go. Can I see a bill, please, for the car? There we go.
For the repairs.
Yeah, we'll get there. Thank you. $490. Good kick on the wheel.
Yes, so he purchased a truck for himself.
Is that after the car?
That was after the car, correct.
What did he need a truck and a car for?
We had split up for a brief moment. I had moved into a sober living because I am an alcoholic. I purchased a vehicle because I needed a vehicle after she took the car back.
Okay, go ahead.
So he purchased the vehicle, and it needed quite a few repairs. At that point, he convinced me that he was in the sober living and it was unsafe for him to be there. So I let him move back in under the conditions that he would...
Whatever. You let him move back in?
Yes. He needed to repair the truck and didn't have money for it. So I lent him the money to get the parts to repair the truck.
How much did you lend him?
It ended up being a little over $1,200.
That's not true.
Who fixed the truck?
It went to a repair shop.
Who fixed it?
The mechanic at the shop.
Where'd you get the money from?
She
Don't
paid.
look there. Look here.
Yes. She paid for the repairs on her credit card.
$1,200. Did you
Correct.
pay her back?
Yes, Your Honor. I gave
Show
her
me.
money.
Show me. That's all I want to know. Great.
But, Your Honor, it was not a loan.
What is this that you're showing me?
Those are withdrawals from my account to her account.
From March until August.
That's correct.
March, you gave her $200. May, you gave her $350.
That's correct.
What was that for?
For bills and for monthly expenses.
For bills?
Yes.
Because you were living there.
Yeah, we were together, yes.
Yeah. June, you gave her $200. July, you gave her $775. August 3rd, you gave her $600, according to this. What was that for?
For monthly bills.
You mean rent, gas, electric, food, what?
Yeah, everything that we shared, yes.
Everything that you shared?
Yes.
Where's your truck?
I have my truck.
That's all fixed now?
It is fixed, yes.
Good. You owe $490 for denting her car and $1,200 for her truck. $1,690, judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He said it was my fault that he fell off the wagon.
No, I never blamed her at all.
He moved up to be with me, and I was not what he wanted.
When I was drinking, I black out.
I was aware that he had a problem, but he had told me he was sober for 4 years prior to that.
So I don't know. I could have said some things to her then, but I don't know.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dewitt versus Dresser. Step forward.
24-year-old Jessica Dewitt is suing her ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Ryan Drescher, for a loan for orthodontia.
Nice. How old are you, Mr. Drescher?
23.
Do you work?
Yes.
Doing what?
I'm a laborer.
Who's this lady?
It's my mother.
Have brothers and sisters?
Yes. One brother, one sister.
Older or younger?
Older. Both of them.
They had braces?
No.
This used to be your girlfriend
Yes, ma'am.
for a couple of years. She's not your girlfriend anymore.
No, ma'am.
She got braces.
Yes.
You got braces.
Yes.
She took out the loan for your braces
Yes.
because you weren't approved for the loan.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you apply for the loan for yourself?
Yes, I did.
And you were turned down?
Yes.
Did you apply for the loan at the same time that Miss Stewart applied for the loan?
Yes, I did.
So that suggests to me that you wanted braces for your teeth,
Yes.
right? Went in, same time. Were you surprised that you were turned down for the loan?
No, I was not.
Oh, good. Now tell me why you weren't surprised.
Because I don't have, I guess, the good enough credit.
Well, did you know that before you were turned down?
No, I did not.
So you were surprised
Yes, I was.
because you work?
Yes.
You work full-time?
Yes.
You get paid in check or cash?
Check.
You live at home?
Yes.
So you don't have much rent.
No.
Did you ever fail to make payments on a credit card?
No.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Which credit card?
I don't even know what the credit card was called, but he also had a truck loan with his dad that he never made the payments for as well.
Well, was that to his father or was that to a finance company?
To a finance company.
Did you not pay a car or truck loan?
It's actually in my dad's name, and yes, I paid my father.
Well, then maybe your father didn't pay.
Yes, he did.
You still have the truck?
Yes, I do.
Well, they didn't repossess it, so he probably still has it. Okay. Now you're not together anymore.
No.
And you were making the payments while you were together.
Yes.
Now you're going to explain to me why you don't owe the balance on the loan.
We broke up, and I got, well, when we broke up, I'd had nothing to do with the loan or the credit card or whatever.
What do you mean you had nothing to do with them? You applied for the loan, you were turned down, you were going to the dentist together.
Yes.
You opened your mouth wide when the dentist said, I'm going to put in your braces. Open wide. Oh. Nobody forced you, right?
No.
Nobody waterboarded you until you opened your mouth, right?
Yes.
So, I'm waiting for an answer, and it is lunchtime.
Well, I have a credit card that has Jessica Dewitt's name on it. It has nothing with my name on it. That she had given to me after it was sent in the mail.
Are you trying to understand your son? Are you trying to understand him?
I understand him.
I'm asking you. I mean, I don't understand. He's talking gibberish. I'm waiting for a defense.
Well, I don't owe Jessica any money since the account is not in my name.
That doesn't mean that you don't owe. That's why we're here. The account is in her name because you had no credit. I'm waiting for a defense. Tell me a defense. You want to confer with your mother? You can reach out to one lifeline. Go, confer with your mother. Defense. Do you have a defense?
I guess my defense is that she was helping me as a gift since I could not own.
Okay, Mr. Drescher, I'm not finished sporting myself with you yet, considering that last answer. I was almost ready to let your mother stop with the humiliation that she is probably now feeling, standing here and watching you make a blithering idiot out of yourself. But the answer that you swore to, you know what it says? Not that it was a gift. Let's go to your defenses so far. First, that the credit was not in your name, but her name. That was your first defense.
Yes.
Which I disabused you of. The second was that it was a gift from her to you, right? That was what you just told me,
Yes.
right? But voila, you have a third door, because your third defense, which you wrote here and swore to, was that after you broke up, you met her in a bar, she was there with her new boyfriend, you went up to discuss the payments on the loan, and she said to you, I don't care about the payments anymore, forget about the payments. You want to see where you wrote that? Want to see?
Sure.
Her boyfriend got in my face and told me that if I didn't get lost, I'd be sorry. Jessica told me she didn't care about the payments. She just wanted me to leave her alone.
Can I say something about
Shut
that,
up.
Mike?
No.
Okay.
So far, you don't have to say a word. Your signature, right?
Yes.
Is that what you wrote?
Yes.
So your third door, sir, is that she forgave the loan because she told you she didn't care about the payments anymore.
Yes.
That's your third defense. I'm going to allow you to pick one of those before I rule. You want to pick one?
Yes.
Which one?
That one.
This one. How much is owed on his loan?
Like $3,900 and some odd cents.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,900. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Me and a couple buddies were out having a good night, and we walked into a bar.
He came up to me and started calling me all these names and stuff.
Tall guy came at me and started pushing me, so I got kicked out of the bar because they thought that I was the one that was starting
And my boyfriend was right there and took him right outside the bar, and then they ended up kicking him outside the bar.
the confrontation, and then they allowed me back into the bar,
He actually located my GPS on my phone and showed up where I was.
and the guy came at me again,
He's just crazy.
telling me that I needed to leave his girlfriend alone.
Stay away from crazy people.
Daughter's father, Keith Buchanan, for an unpaid loan she gave him for a car.
Miss Young, the defendant is married to your daughter?
No.
He is the father of your grandchild?
Yes.
Do he and your daughter live together?
No.
Where does your daughter live?
In Maple Shade.
Were they ever married?
No.
They have one child?
Yes.
Who's 12?
Yes.
Did you live together with Miss Young's daughter?
Well, at one point, she lived with me in Maple Shade.
How long ago?
This was 2010, 2011.
You mean when your daughter was a baby?
Yes.
How long have you had custody of your granddaughter?
11 years. My daughter never stayed with him.
I don't know her. For child support, for taking care of his daughter, and he wrote that off of the loan. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Essie Young claims her granddaughter's father, Keith Buchanan, refuses to pay back a loan she gave him for a car.
This is a very simple case, because I don't have to get into the history of war.
Yes.
When was that?
Before he got it, he was calling every day.
Did you maintain a relationship with him?
Yes and no.
Would he visit his daughter?
No.
Ever?
Once in a blue moon.
Okay.
I usually have to take my granddaughter to see him.
Okay. It was sort of odd to me if he was never married to your daughter, so they didn't have a formalized relationship. They don't live together now. Why would you loan him? I know that you did.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you loan him money?
My granddaughter.
Except you're a very nice person.
My granddaughter asked me to. She said, Grandma, would you please help my dad? I told her I really don't want to.
Okay, so you discussed with your daughter during one of these visits that you needed money to buy a car?
No, never did.
You never did?
No.
Who is this person?
That's my wife.
Does she work?
Yes.
Do you work?
Yes.
Well, why would you ask your daughter's grandmother, who takes care of her, who's always taken care of her? You don't, neither does her mother. Why would you not ask your wife's family? You both work, take out a loan. Why would you go to her and ask her for money?
But it was just...
What would prompt you to call her? Doesn't she have parents?
Yes, she do. I did that, and at the time, they couldn't help.
So you went to her parents first?
I went to her family first. They said they're sorry, they can't help at the time. So Mrs. Young was my last resource, which I didn't want to use, but at the time, I had to use it because I had no other choice. I had to hurry up and get a vehicle.
Well, why didn't you take out a loan?
Actually, I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
Because my credit's not all that great. I tried to take out loans. I tried to go...
Does your wife have a car?
Yes, she has a car.
Okay, why don't you use her car?
She worked. I work an hour and a half away from home, and she worked too, and we worked around the same time.
How much money did you borrow from her?
$2,000.
How much did you give back?
$912.
$912.
2022, she got $912.
From what?
From my taxes. And we agreed on once I filed my taxes, I would give her $2,000 for my taxes. She got $912 from them, that same taxes, because I owed backup child support. So she got on top of my regular payment for child support plus $912.
What? Is there something wrong with your mind?
No.
Did you just say to me, am I crazy? Did he say he owed back child support?
Yes.
Cut off of the loan. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Oh, my God. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Well, not ever. I should take that back. It's the dumbest thing I've heard today. If you owed her back child support, how much did you owe her?
Only owed her $900.
In back child support?
Yes.
Okay.
That I fully forgot.
Just a second. You owed her that money. In addition to owing her that money, you owed her $2,000. Do you understand that? So you owed her $900 plus $2,000. Are you not following me? Am I getting something wrong here?
I'm with you.
You said was they took money out of your taxes for back child support, $900. So that means you paid her $900 of the $2,000. That's what your argument is.
Yes.
Am I getting that?
Yes.
You already owed her the $900.
I had no awareness that I owed her $900. When I found out that $900 got taken out the taxes.
You got $900 that I owed you anyway. Now I need more time. Oh, my God. How is your granddaughter in school? She do okay?
Yes, she
does
well.
okay?
Yes.
Okay. Either his math skills or his moral skills are somehow lacking.
It's the moral.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
I think the judge seen right through him.
He was gonna be miserable, so I just let him be miserable.
No one thinks like that.
As long as she go about her life, I go about my life, leave my family alone.
I just think he was hustling me.
Only contact me when he got something to do with my daughter, that's it.
I don't want any.
But I thought that what the defendant was saying was that he was expecting $2,000 on his tax returns. So he told plaintiff, when I get it, I'll repay you the $2,000. And then in his mind, when the $900 left the account, he didn't know that that was not going to be there for the back child support. So he only had, the $900 and change left to give her. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. He thought that it would be the full $2,000. Come to find out, he thinks that the back child support is what fulfills his
loan
obligation
for a parking space.
She's called the police over this multiple times.
Mine was parked there first.
Who cares? There is no entitlement to park right in front of your house. It's a public street. I don't care if you park on. Recently moved into the neighborhood?
Yes, on February 25th of 2022.
And you've been living there for about a year?
Year and a half.
I have complaints and cross-complaints. Each one of you are claiming that the other is guilty of harassment. The defendant, in addition to the harassment, says that there was an assault that would be on you?
Me.
On you, by the plaintiff?
Yes.
And false police reports to Child Welfare Administration. Each one of you is requesting serious damages as a result of this ongoing harassment and assault. And I gather from reading the papers that when you moved in, the whole bad feeling between neighbors started because of a parking space. Would that be correct?
Correct.
So your car is the white car?
Correct.
Tell me about the problem when you first moved in with the car, and go over to the chart.
Okay. So a month after I moved in, I politely asked Pamela if she can...
Pamela, that would be you?
Yes.
Your last name is Jackson?
Yes.
Okay. So you asked Miss Jackson, whose car is the car parked in front of yours?
Yes, this one.
Okay. So you said to Miss Jackson, go ahead.
I told her if she could please scoot up. We were both pulling in at the same time. We were coming back at the same time, so I thought I could politely ask her if she could just scoot up.
I don't know what that means, and perhaps other people do, but I don't. You asked her to move her car.
Yes, just a little bit forward, because on the handicap, the yellow line ends right there.
No, see, look at me. You asked her to, I see a handicap sign.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked her to move up.
Yes.
Why?
Because she parks so further back, and when the neighbors park back there, I have to parallel park, and sometimes I'm in a rush, so I just, want to, sometimes it's too, I just wanted to politely ask her if she could just scoot up a little bit, because she has a bunch of space in the front, so I just thought I could...
I don't see a whole bunch of space. What is handicap? Where is that handicap spot?
Right here in front of her house.
Right there?
Mm-hmm.
You have a handicap sign?
When I moved in, I was told I could park there
just
because that's the old one. No, I do not.
You do not. So you shouldn't be parking there anyway.
I was told I could because that was the old sign. That's why they dismissed the ticket that she called to get when I didn't move my car.
Just a second. You can't tell me what somebody else said to you. There's a handicap sign.
Police department in Marshall.
What, did you have something from the police department indicating that you can park in a handicap spot?
No, they removed it the next day and dismissed it because of that.
Just a second. Is the sign still there?
No, they removed it immediately.
Okay, fine.
Because
the sign was removed?
Yes.
And what is that alleyway where the trash can is?
That's the driveway for the next door neighbor's
house.
Mm-hmm.
Just a second. So that what she's doing in parking her car there is permitting the trash cans, which are supposed to be out into the street, right? Point to the trash can.
Yes, right here.
So the trash can is supposed to be out in the street. In order to get back to the house, somebody who lives in that back house has to pull all the way around the trash can and her car if she moves her car up.
Your Honor.
It makes it that much more difficult for the person who lives behind.
I understand. for
Okay.
trash day is understandable.
I don't care. She
when-
doesn't. You have to understand, Ms. Hernandez, that she didn't have to accommodate you so that you don't have to parallel park. She
I
doesn't-
just thought I could ask her politely, and
well,
I didn't think
when
it
you
was going to be
okay. So let's go back a second. Now you can go back. So that's what started the trouble. You said politely. Tell me exactly what you said to her. Tell me exactly what you said to her, and you said that that happened in March. Go ahead.
I asked her, I said, excuse me, can you please scoot up a little bit so that I can parallel park? There was no trash
No,
that
just a
day.
second. I don't care. Trash, no trash.
That's how I
She
asked.
doesn't have to figure Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have to scoot up my car because she doesn't like to parallel park. Do you understand? Trash day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Recycling Tuesday and Thursday, but not every week, every other week. So I have to remember to scoot up so that my young neighbor doesn't.
The way she told me was, ma'am, I would appreciate if you would just move around and park in the back. Now, the alleyway, it's illegal to
No, just
park.
a second. She said, let's go slowly.
So
Ma'am.
she said, ma'am, I would appreciate if you would please move around to the back alleyway. I need parking for all my friends and family.
No, true. Your Honor, that's not true.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Sarah, I don't know what this.
You don't have to keep hitting it. That's the whole video.
Thank you. If I hit it, maybe I hit it on the table a little.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well,
that only works with your phone.
It only works on my
Yeah.
phone? Fresh math.
I still have to pinch myself to really believe it. You don't get better if you win all the time. You look at yourself more when you lose.
I'm thinking of my daughter today. I miss her so much. This is making me want to be more adventurous for her, definitely.
If by the last episode True Love is not achieved, Drama World will issue says, what? It's up to us to stop it.
And defamed her. Pamela's countersuing for an assault.
Okay, she asked you to move. And you said to her, your response to her was, it's a public street, I'll park where I want to park.
I tried to explain to her I have arthritis, so if you'll see, I park where I can walk around my car and go up the walkway.
I don't care. You don't have to justify it to me. I asked you the question. You responded what? What did you...
The way I responded was for...
Think. If you don't remember, say I don't remember.
Oh, I
don't
remember.
make it up.
I remember because I've stated this the whole time. Every time, even the police have sat there and asked why I parked there because she's called the police over this multiple times. I have even explained to them I park the way I do.
I want you to tell me.
I told her, I says, I'm older, I have arthritis, I park where I do to be able to use my walkway. Her response was, you'll have a better access. I need the walkway for stability because I've already had one fall.
Okay, whatever. You told her I can't accommodate you.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's not true because it didn't take that long. She got in her car, and she actually got in, and she screwed up.
And she moved up a little bit.
She moved up a little bit because the trash can wasn't there.
Okay, so you asked her, ma'am, could you move up a little bit? And so what you're telling me is she accommodated you.
She did.
And she didn't say anything to you.
So I thought it was okay.
And then what happened?
And then whenever I was parking, I got off and I told her, I was like, thank you. And then that's when she got upset.
No. In March, what you're saying is you asked her to scoot up, and she did.
And she did.
When was the next date that something happened with the car?
April 6th, she called the cops for the first time because she parked. That's how she parked. She parked very close to my car, as you can see on the picture. She started parking close to me like that. She called the cops for the first time.
Just a second. That photograph was taken April 6th?
Yes, ma'am.
Of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you were parked right in front of your house?
Yes, ma'am.
First. And she parked in front of you?
Correct.
And you're telling me that she called the police?
Correct.
Is that correct?
No.
Okay. Show me that she called the police on April 6th.
She did?
She called the police, and then she was telling them that...
No. Can't tell me what she was telling them. I want to see where she called the police on April 6th. She said she didn't. Is that what you just said to me?
I called the police. I'm not the one that parked. I was already parked there. When she pulled up on me, I called the police because she tapped my back end before she pulled back.
Incorrect.
Okay, so you were parked there already?
I was already there, and it's an ongoing issue for months. She would pull up on me and sometimes tap my bumper.
And you were in the car?
I wasn't in the car. I was inside.
So you just saw her parked very close to you?
I saw her tap my bumper.
Okay, and that's when you called the police?
Yes.
Okay.
And she knew because she was recording me calling them.
Do you have that?
It's even on her TikTok.
I'd like to see.
I do, because she was lying to them and said that I hit her car, and I did not hit her car.
Which shows she was the one pulling in.
Well, but the scenario that she's telling Ms. Hernandez, that she's telling me, is different from what you told me. So let's get it clear. Was her car parked there first or yours?
Mine was parked there first.
And she says hers was parked there first. That means that she would have to back into that spot, whatever it was.
And she did.
Just a second. That's what you want me. She backed into that spot and proved that to me, because that would be silly. I see what you're showing me. What you're showing me is consistent with the cars being very close together. But you want me to believe that she actually backed into that spot.
She did.
Oh, it's a video?
Here. Your Honor, she did park like that day.
Yeah. I hope this video will show me that. I don't know what this... Sarah.
Yeah.
Am I getting the whole...
Yeah, you don't have to keep hitting it if that's the whole video. That's it.
Could we do it again?
Yeah.
Thank you. If I hit it, maybe I hit it on the table.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well,
that only works with your phone.
It only works on my
Yeah.
phone? Fresh math. Yeah, all right, this is useless. Okay, so the police came out, and was there a police report?
I have it right here.
May I have it, please? Who else lives in the house with you, Miss Hernandez?
Me and my 2 children.
Oh, well, that was nasty. Over a parking space? How unfortunate.
I'd like to see that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Oh, yes. The officer actually didn't believe her because there was nothing on her car.
Doesn't have to be anything on her car.
But she's
you
making...
tap somebody's bumper, there isn't always damage. That's close enough for me. Okay, give me the paper back.
The officer did not believe her because she lied. She made false accusations, saying that I was threatening her with a knife and with a baby in my arm. Officer didn't believe her because...
Don't tell me what the officer believed or what the officer didn't believe, madam. It's irrelevant what you think the officer believed. If the officer was here, I would question the officer. Okay, it all started over a parking space. And you have to understand, I'm not sympathetic with you. You move into a neighborhood, something is established in the neighborhood, because I'm sure she didn't wait to park in that spot just when you moved in. That's where she's been parking her car. It's not that you don't have a place to park. You have a place to park in front of your house. Mm-hmm. That's the defendant's house. Her car is parked right in front of her house. Mm-hmm. You have a place to park. Your car is parked right in front of your house. You want her to move to make it easier for you so that you don't have to struggle to park, so you could just scoot in and scoot out.
I just didn't want to risk hitting her car for being in a garage because the people behind me would park pretty close up.
Who cares? It's a public street. I don't care if you park on Mars. Mm-hmm. Then park someplace else on the street. It would bother me if that was my driveway and there was a car every time I pulled into my driveway, and I couldn't do it during trash days because it's even a wider turn. Also that you didn't have to parallel park. I'm telling you, I'm not sympathetic with that. You're not entitled to a public street parking spot. That's sort of an entitlement that what generation?
Gen Z.
Gen Z is going to cause the demise of this country.
Life sometimes goes like you don't expect it to.
What did you do to me? Turn it off.
The
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 27.
You're 27. Well, that makes sense. Is that called Gen X? Is that a Gen X? What is that?
I think it's a Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Yeah.
Gen Z, yes.
Your Honor,
There's a whole bunch of entitlements with Gen Z people.
Your Honor, I don't think it's...
Just a second.
Your Honor, I don't think it's fair that she has called CPS on
Just
me.
a second. We're not talking about fair. Right now, we're talking about parking.
Well,
right now, we're talking about what precipitated this bad feeling. And I agree with you. We'll get to the rest of the harassment, but what I'm telling you is you're off base here. You're not entitled to a public street parking spot that may or may not inconvenience somebody else. You have a spot in front of your house. But if the reason you told her to move her car and the people behind is because you don't like to parallel park, that is sort of an entitlement. I'm just telling you, Ms. Hernandez, that's sort of an entitlement that what generation?
Gen Z.
Gen Z. This is going to cause the demise of this country. There is no entitlement to park right in front of your house, comfortably. There's no entitlement to that. You wanted that, you should have bought a house that had a garage. If that started the... Now, she can call the police if she thinks that you touched her car, which you probably did. You didn't damage it, but you probably touched it because you were annoyed, because that's a constant source of irritation. No, so I'm not concerned about calling the police. Understand this. I'm concerned about calling CPS, because that's one of the issues here. And Miss Jackson, I believe, in her answer, said she did, in fact, call Child Protective Services.
And I've
Just a
actually got
second.
evidence.
Just a second. You called Child Protective Services when?
I made a call in August. Was it August or September?
If you don't remember, you don't remember. You made a call to Child Protective Services based on 2 times.
Twice. Well, there was the most recent one, so it's 3. So the first one...
Just a second. So you called Child Protective Services 3 times?
All 3 times, and I've got video evidence to why.
Okay, I'd like to see the video evidence.
Actually, pull that up. One of them has to do with the fact she was inside, and I'd been outside changing batteries. I went to verify my cameras, picked up the audio. She had been yelling at her daughter, threatening to beat her up.
Okay, just a second. The first time you called Child Protective Services was in August or September of 2022.
Correct.
That's what you said. Why did you call Child Protective Services the first time?
The first time was I saw her kind of shove her daughter backwards.
You have that on tape?
Did you find the tape on that one?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Your Honor, they did not call CPS in August.
Just a second. She says she did. August or September.
But she's trying to claim earlier that I called in February, but that wasn't me. She had another situation going on. She even told the cop, if it hadn't been for her telling me not to move my car, she wouldn't believe I was the one that called.
Okay.
Because she called the police on that.
I don't see anything sufficient for you to call CPS the first time on that. That was a motion with a hand. Child didn't fall.
There had been a bunch of yelling out before that.
I don't care. That's an overkill. What's next? When's the next time?
The next time I called, and she's got the video. She can pull up for you. She was inside. I was changing my battery. She yelled at her daughter to get down.
Where was her daughter?
They were inside.
So you heard her yelling at her daughter?
Heard her yelling at her daughter to get down, or next time she does it, she's going to beat her up, and then we heard break your neck.
Okay, and you videoed that?
Yes, we even showed that to the police.
Okay,
Your Honor,
I'd like to see it. Looking at it, so far you...
She says,
Your Honor,
I'm gonna
that's
beat you
not
up,
me.
and if you don't listen, I'm going to break your neck.
Okay. How old is your daughter?
That's not me. My
Who is
daughter's
it?
7.
Whose voice is it coming from your house?
It's not me. It's the neighbor that was on the corner.
What?
That's not me. My daughter's name or my son's name is Cam. She said Cam.
No, she didn't.
You could listen to it again, and it's going to say Cam. That's not me. That was the person that's in the...
Nobody has any kids.
Yes, they do.
says, hey, get off the couch right now. I'm going to beat you up. Stop playing. Okay. I'm going to break your... Oh, she says, you're going to break your neck.
You're going to break your neck.
You're going to break your neck.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not me.
Second time. Just a second. Second time. Would I, based on that, she didn't say, I'm going to break your neck. She said, you're going to break your neck.
After she threatened to beat the child up, I'm actually a victim of child abuse.
I'm sympathetic with that, and I'm sensitive to that. I still think that that's a little bit of overkill, Miss Jackson. Let's go further.
To be continued. caretaker Jessica Washington for stolen money, travel costs, and elder abuse.
Miss Coleman, how old is your mother?
90.
Do you live with her?
I do.
How long have you been living with her?
3 years.
You're her primary caretaker?
Yes, ma'am.
She suffers from?
Dementia.
For how long?
I identified it in December of 2019. And I just stayed from that point on, sleeping on her couch.
At some point, you had to go out of town for a period of time.
Yes.
You hired the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you get to her?
My cousin Andrea was friends with her, and she said that she would be a great candidate.
Did you interview her?
I spoke with her later on. She came by the house, and...
What date did you first speak to her?
Maybe about a day or two.
And tell me, Miss Washington, are you employed now?
Yes, I am.
By whom?
Well, I do self-employment, and I also have my own little business on the side as well, you know, caring for elderly people.
Okay. Did you have any special training for the care of the elderly?
I got my AED and my CPR. No, not really, because basically I've been just dealing with family members.
For how long?
I'm going to say at least like 5 years.
And you had no special training for the care of the elderly? Okay, and did you explain that to the plaintiff?
She knew.
Claims caretaker Jessica Washington stole money from her mother, who suffers from dementia.
Okay. On what day were you supposed to report to take care of her mother?
August 11th.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Who was there?
It was Miss Coleman and her mother.
And the arrangement that you made with her was for 7 days, and you would be living with her mother?
For 7 days.
And what was she to pay you for the 7 days?
We never discussed a payment.
Well, this is what you were doing for a living, and you had jobs for the last 5 years. Is not an answer. Yes is the answer. And when you work for other people who you'll tell me about, what did you charge them?
I didn't really charge them anything. That's why I'm saying me and her never discussed a price, because...
You watched her mother for 1 day, and then you left. And according to her, her mother fell. When you left, after the 1 day, she had left $400, and you took the $400. That's what she says when you left. Your answer is that you earned that $400 in the 1 day. That's why you took it. You have a counterclaim because she has said to someone that what you did amounted to elder abuse. Now, you started on the 11th. Tell me when you left.
The date that I left was August 12th at 4. Pick her mother up off the floor, which her cousin told me to leave.
No. You can't tell me what anybody else told you. Prior to 4:30 on the 12th, did Miss Coleman's mother suffer a fall?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And where did she fall?
She fell on the floor. She was sitting at the table where I was sitting at as well, too. I got up to use the bathroom.
At 4:30 in the morning?
We was up all night.
Could you tell me why?
Because she was waiting for her daughter to come back, because before her daughter left out the house, being as though that the lady has dementia and Alzheimer's, they think about the future, the past, and the present. She's thinking that her daughter is coming back because her daughter said, "I will be right back." So that's why she sat up all night long. I was trying to put her to bed. She didn't want to go to bed, so I called.
Okay, so you were there a little less than 12 hours, right? You came at 5 o'clock in the afternoon,
on
and
the
at
11th.
4:30, and at 4:30 in the morning, you left.
I didn't actually leave. I was told to leave.
But you left.
Yeah, and I didn't want to.
I don't care whether you wanted to or not. It's not particularly relevant whether you wanted to or not. I understand what happened. You left, and when you left, you took the $400 that you found.
Because the mother told me to.
You mean the mother with dementia and Alzheimer's?
Yes, her mother told me to.
Just a second. You mean the mother with dementia and Alzheimer's who you stayed up with, said you had to come home from your travel. She's not responsible for that. She has to return the $400 to you. You told me 2 minutes ago, Miss Washington, that you never discussed fee.
We did.
Because this is not a question and answer. You didn't even know whether you were going to charge her anything, because as far as you were concerned, it's family. Is not an answer. And you listened to the woman that you had been hired to care for because she has dementia and Alzheimer's and had fallen, and she said to you, "Take this $400, it's yours." What if she told you to take a piece of her jewelry? Would you have taken that?
No.
Yeah. You would have taken it because she gave it to you.
Because I'm not no thief. I wouldn't.
No, that's not what I'm telling you. You say that you took this $400 because this woman who can't make a judgment told you to take it. What if she said to you, I want you to have my pearls, plaintiff, in the amount of $400? I'll take a look at the instance that you have on your counterclaim for slander when she says that you are guilty of elder abuse. What do you have to show me?
It's in a court order.
What do you mean it was in a court order?
It is. She went and filed elder's abuse on me, plus the traveling expenses, too. I have that court order.
Just a second. Is that what you're telling me? In her case against you for the $400 and for any other travel expenses, which I'm dismissing, that part of her claim.
I think the judge did a great job. I assume that she would be able to deal with my mother. It's difficult being a caregiver, and we as people need to do much more to protect our elderly.
We've seen a couple of these cases, and it's so unfortunate to see the elderly, and whether they're ill or sick or mentally not capable of caring for themselves anymore, zero training that some of these people have to really care for them, and it's scary. We've seen it too many times, and $400 on the counter to someone to just take it for 12 hours worth of work.
You know, it's always struck me as a shame that society has and the government has created situations where you need licenses to do certain things. You have to go to school, you have to pass an exam, you need a license to have a dog. But the most vulnerable people in the population, those people who, as she said, she didn't know whether her daughter was coming back or not coming back. She said she'd be right back, so she was waiting up for her. That vulnerable person, when it worked to the defendant's advantage, said, well, she was perfectly capable of saying to me,
take the money.
Take the money.
Yeah.
Terrible. Really frightening.
Want justice? Go to judyjustice.tv.
Xin chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với những vlog tô tranh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình sẽ có một bức tranh về một chiếc hòm thư nhé, rất là xinh xắn. Các bạn hãy cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh của ngày hôm nay nha. Rồi thì chúng mình sẽ cùng tô màu. Trước tiên là mình sẽ tô cái khe để nhét hòm thư vô. Tiếp theo thì sẽ tô cái phần trụ để đứng cho cái hộp thư này. Mình sẽ tô xen kẽ hai màu với nhau nhé, để cho nó sặc sỡ hơn. Mình sẽ kết hợp với màu xanh dương. Giờ thì tô đến trái tim ở trên hòm thư. Mình cũng sẽ kết hợp hai màu là màu đỏ và màu vàng.
The cause of action has two parts. One, you claim that